In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that delayed their episode because they were having a conversation about Doctor Who. I am your host and resident Whovian, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
There's a name for it, Whovians?
There's a name. Yes, we have a name. We have a name for our group. Also joining us from up north, RCMP JLB. What's going on, man?
It goes good, sir. It goes good. That was a long conversation about Doctor Who that I know nothing of, and I'm glad you wasted 12 minutes of my life to delay this podcast to talk about it.
Oh, just wait.
Oh,
I will waste
buddy.
more of your life based on it.
How many times have you wasted our life not answering that you weren't ready for it? Oh my God, he's bringing out the sonic fucking screwdriver. Anyway,
oh man,
how many times have we waited for you? That's all I'm saying.
How many times have we waited for you, and then you would say something like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was late. I was doing karaoke or watching Big Brother."
These are both very valid excuses. Not, hey, we're all on time. Let's talk about Doctor Who.
Nope.
Fuck our viewers over.
Nerds. Big old karaoke nerds.
I don't think.
Whoa, hold on.
Everyone loves karaoke. Karaoke cannot be a nerd thing.
He doesn't.
Not a nerd thing.
Nope. It is definitely a nerd thing.
I'm
Here's
pretty
the
sure
deal,
there's more people who love karaoke
doesn't matter
in the world than there is who don't.
It's
well, how many people are in Japan? That's at least.
It's not about popularity.
That doesn't mean everyone in Japan loves karaoke. That's almost a stereotype. And
again, though, I'm going to point out
it is the most popular place in the world for it.
Yes, it's where it founded,
but not everyone.
But in the end, again, I'm going to point this out. Popularity has nothing to do with whether something is nerdy. In fact,
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars is super popular, one of the most popular franchises in the world, and it's super nerdy. But here's the deal. To paraphrase Will Wheaton, who was asked about at one point, and being a nerd is just about loving something, right? And so you can be a sports nerd, you can be a football nerd, you can be a Star Trek nerd, or a Star Wars nerd, or a Doctor Who nerd. I happen to be all three of those. We collectively are wrestling nerds, right?
I seem to have I seem to have pinched a nerd nerve. I'm sorry.
No. And so you like karaoke? So you're a karaoke nerd.
Damn right I am. What's up, Big Brother
nerd? Also, gotta say hi out there to
hello.
Ambrosia. Big JC has showed up too.
Oh, Lundy Dom.
So we need a few more. Come on, keep coming. But anyways, so we're going to talk professional wrestling because that's what this particular nerd podcast is about. But I don't think anyone could make an argument that a bunch of people who've spent countless amount of money and hours watching and listening to and talking about professional wrestling and buying shit like professional wrestling cards and action figures, which, by the way, I found in a box one of my old Sting action figures, so he's right there.
It's Sting!
It's Sting!
Knew he looked familiar.
And so he's back there just chilling, sitting in front of everyone else there. But yeah, no, we're fucking big nerds here, and so let's let's just nerd out on
Riding
professional
nerdy,
wrestling.
some might say.
Before we get into nerding out on professional wrestling, though, let's remind everyone that Raw and Order is part of the Tatnus Co. Podcast Network. So make sure to head on to the link. It's going to be in the doobly-doos, or it's going to show up in the chat at some point here to tatnusco.com. And then you can head on over there, check out all the shows there, and come back here to watch our next episode. We do live streams on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights at 10:30-ish Central.
Yeah.
11:30 Eastern.
11:30 Eastern.
12:30.
Whatever.
Fucking Newfoundland.
That's look there. Linktree. Run or WBU. Do the conversions. Anyways. But
9:30
join us.
Mountain.
9:30
Yep.
Mountain.
9:30 Mountain. Yep.
8:30 Pacific.
Mhm.
Oh.
6:30 Alaska.
Hey. Freaking Alaskans.
Part of Alaska.
What are these?
part
I'm
of
going to
Alaska.
figure out what time zone Turks and Caicos is at, and so we can say.
It's likely Atlantic, which would be the same as Newfoundland.
It likely could be, but I don't know.
Squash!
Squash is here.
Squash!
Sup, Squash?
Squash.
Anyways,
Squash on good old time here.
You ever wear a pair of shoes without socks all day and your feet fucking stink? Feeling
Pair
with
of
that right
shoes
now.
without stucks. Oh, and I feel like your feet stink.
Well,
I feel like you're a guy who has stinky feet.
I feel like you're a guy with a stinky beard. So what?
It's valid.
I feel like you wear Axe. Are you a guy
Turks
who
and-
wears Axe? I feel like you're a guy who wears Axe.
How dare you? I haven't worn Axe since like grade 9.
so you admit you did wear Axe.
At some point in high school, it was very popular.
Turks and Caicos, by the way, is Eastern.
Oh, really?
Oh, it is Eastern, huh?
Yeah.
So it's the same as
Look at that.
Florida
So-
and New York.
So
And
we can
Montreal.
start saying
Squash!
we
Real quick before we start a podcast, because there's lots
Oh,
to talk
Jesus.
about. Squash.
'Cause-
Numbers 1 through 5.
So from now on, we can launch and say, hey, you know, going live every Sunday night at 9:30 Turks and Caicos time.
Hey,
That's the way to do it.
you said they were Eastern. It's 11:30, fucker.
Oh, 11:30. See, I did the math wrong because I don't fucking live in weird time zones. I live in normal time. Come on, Squash.
One job, Squash. 1 through 5.
1 through 5, Squash.
1 through 5.
1 through 5.
1
1
through
through
5.
5.
Don't say 21.
He said 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. All right, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? JLB, have you gone to, I don't know, fucking Walmart yet?
I plan to tomorrow.
Oh, you planned to last.
Smelling
Well,
a lot
I mean,
of if coming off that plan.
There was an if there. I said I plan to. There was
Okay,
no
this
if.
one is a Raw, and it's the number 1 in the series for Raw.
Oh,
Next
Ooh,
level.
that's a
Demon
nice next
King.
level.
that isn't nice.
Next one is number 108 WWE. This should be higher than that, I feel like. Bailey. Welcome back, baby.
Hey.
This one will be directly sent as a legend to one Officer Mark Smarts so he can wipe his butthole with it. As it is Jerry the King. of
Fuck
Lawler.
that. Shows up in my house, I'm burning the place down.
Last but not least is one guy who in this picture is taking on 2 outsiders. And that is Goldberg.
Oh, Jesus. Who's next?
Goldberg.
Oh, you want me to do another one? That's why you said who's next?
Yeah, exactly. no, I'm fucking with you. It's fine.
The Finn Balor was great.
Actually go to Walmart,
Finn Balor
and
was
if
a
he does, he
fucking
goes
phenomenal
for
pull.
Ace body spray.
She corrected it to Axe body spray.
Oh, yeah. She's.
Ace body spray. Ace.
I thought there was
body
like an Ace body spray. Sounds better than.
I
Axe.
feel like when he goes to Walmart, like to get his Axe body spray,
you guys are
can
fucking
go-
assholes.
he can go get a fucking
I'm a
garbage.
fucking what's it called? I'm a Davidoff guy. I fucking loved my
Davidoff.
Cool Water, and I'm really into the Davidoff cologne. So go fuck yourselves, okay? There's no
I
axe
did
in
it.
my room at all.
I did it twice earlier today. That's okay. I don't need you to give me permission for that ever.
I don't need to
again.
do it anymore. My arms are tired. I feel like, you know, I should create an Ace body spray t-shirt now.
JLB wears Ace body spray.
Just a t-shirt with like a body spray that says Ace body spray on it. Just in case I want another
JLB
thing taken
scent.
down for copyright.
The JLB body, the JLB scent.
So yeah, let's do a little not wrestling bitching first.
Oh,
Fuck Spreadshirt right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, we
Jesus.
love them. And still go buy our
Fuck
shirts.
copyright, I think,
I'll
is more
Spreadshirt.
it. But
I don't
almost
understand
all
how you
of
can
our
copyright the terminology mortician with purple and black lines that are kind of scribbled.
Yep.
And maybe
If you were on our Tuesday night podcast, we launched all of our AI inspired art homage t-shirts, and all of them but one got taken down for copyright.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on seeing if there's some way I can get around it and get them back up. We'll find out. But so yeah, that went down crap. Ace body spray is what John Laurinaitis uses.
Oh, Jesus.
Here he
Excellent.
thought it was all of his charisma that got those girls. It was really the Ace body spray. Or
Yeah.
Vince's money. Well,
Vince's money or roofies. I don't know. Allegedly.
Interesting story about Ace body spray and John Laurinaitis and the Vince stuff, since we're already on the subject. Anybody notice the article that told us Vince McMahon spent more money on non-disclosure agreements than he got from The Rock and Danny Garcia for XFL?
For XFL, yes.
Yeah. That's messed up.
More money on NDAs than he got
Buying WCW as well.
For
Yeah,
a
more than he got
league.
paid for WCW by a long shot, because I think he only paid
5
like
times
$2
more.
million. Yeah, so a lot more.
What can I tell you? Sex sells? Too soon?
But
Too soon.
I do want to like we'll start with the
Sex
wrestling
lies.
now. Here's specific wrestling stuff I want to talk about. 21 years ago today was the start of the most annoying trend in professional wrestling, the what chant.
What?
What? 21 years ago today, Steve Austin
Nice.
came out. Hugh Morris had just got done getting beat by Y2J.
Hugh Morris. Oh my god.
And he says,
Build 'em
look
up.
at you. You're 275 pounds. Your name is Hugh Morris. What? Your name is Hugh Morris. What? Is that funny? Is that humorous? Are you here to make me laugh? What? You're pathetic. Look at me. You're pathetic. Y2J whooped your ass. I'm ashamed of you. Step back. And the crowd latched onto that. And now, 21 years later, you cannot go to a wrestling show without the crowd
saying
at
what?
least some point saying, what?
Yeah, straight up.
What?
What?
What? So,
All thanks to a conversation that Christian was having with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Austin literally couldn't hear him, and he was saying "what" like 5,000 times, and Christian was just laughing hysterically. So, yeah, that's how it was born. Thanks to a Canadian. Yeah.
fucking
a
Canadian.
Canadian.
Jesus, you guys will latch onto anything.
Well, fuck, you fuckers do it all the time, so fuck off.
No, we have American freedom.
Oh,
Yes.
We took that from the Brits, but we're going to claim it
you
for
took it
ourselves.
from the fucking Brits. One job.
Representative-based government is what we took from the Brits.
Yes.
Yep.
And property rights.
Yes. Anyways, so we'll get on as I'm done bitching about what. Let's talk
What?
about the events of this week in professional wrestling.
What?
What?
Let's talk about. Well, I guess we already talked about whatever happened on
Austin
Raw on
is
Tuesdays.
Go!
I thought you can go for a little bit longer there.
I
I was
could've.
expecting. I don't know. I was like,
I
Chip,
could've.
you can.
There's got to be a time to stop.
You missed your
but
calling, bud. You missed your calling.
I don't enjoy soccer.
No, okay, fair enough. Then you didn't miss your calling.
Oh, but if the Mexican announcers or anything, all you need is some cocaine and you'll enjoy soccer just fine.
Fucking right there in the picture. Fucking right there in the picture. Jeez. What do you have, like 4 lines lined up just ready?
Yeah, like
Just
4
ready,
lines.
fuck.
Just ready to go.
Fucking...
No wonder he's always so excited. Anyways, so we talked a little bit about Raw on Tuesday. But it's still worth talking about. Dexter Lumis making his return in a very weird, subtle way.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see tomorrow night how they continue this storyline and whether they make it clear whether the car crash is part of this storyline or a separate storyline altogether.
Or just have it float. I mean, they may very well not even mention either of it.
I would like for them to at least mention it because I want to know how this storyline is going because I'm really confused because I can't remember if JLB was the one who brought it up or someone online brought it up that the car crashes might be a way for them to write Nikki ASH and Doudrop out of the tag team tournament so that they can have Naomi and Sasha appear in it as a surprise entrant.
Were they the ones in the car though? Was that
They
it?
were no, but we didn't see who was in the car because we didn't actually see the accident happen. We just saw the remains of it, and then people standing around. And Nikki ASH and Doudrop were standing in front of the car, talking about it, like talking to each other and pointing at the car and stuff. So
Why would it be them?
Well,
they weren't in the crash.
It could be that they were in the crash and now they were out talking it over. I don't know. This is just something that someone said, and I was like, well, I mean, it could be. I can't say no. The thing with this car crash storyline is we can't say no to any theories that are out there about that, and because
it's so ambiguous that like
so little description of it. Could be anything. I get the feeling, at least I had the feeling that it was related to Dexter Lumis, that this was all about Dexter Lumis crashed his car into the building and then got out of the car and ran away from, because then later, of course, you saw the car being loaded onto a trailer. And then a little bit later, you saw security and police running through the building really fast, like they were chasing someone. And then at the end, Dexter Lumis getting arrested as he's trying to climb over the barricade.
Right.
So I feel like these are all parts to the same storyline.
Yeah, like he crashed in, he wasn't supposed to be there, then he ran away, went down to the thing, security is now chasing him, security finally caught up to him while he was in ringside. We shall see on Monday.
But we don't know. We don't know for certain.
They can easily change it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know?
He'll ask.
Don't you know?
Somebody.
We tried. John Laurinaitis isn't taking our calls. He's too busy with Ace Body Spray.
Oh my god.
Woo!
But anyways, so I'm interested to see what comes of that on Raw tomorrow night. SmackDown featured the return of Hit Row, which I'm like,
it's really not
there's
the
no
same
swerve in it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm happy to see B-Fab back for a couple reasons. Another women's wrestler to fill out the roster. That's great.
Right.
But was anyone really like missing Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis?
Well, I mean, they're decent wrestlers. It's just I found that whole thing on SmackDown, especially them in the ring and saying their names, then doing like the little dance thing, felt more comedic in a really bad way rather than they're a legitimate, serious group in terms of, I don't know, like I think Swerve really added something to Hit Row to make them more feel like they're actual contenders, legitimacy, and so on and so forth. Now it feels like they're kind of just a clown group, which is really wrong of me to say. Considering
Ashanti Adonis is fine. He's capable in the ring. I'm fine with it.
No, but Top Dollar just seems out of place and weird.
I've never been impressed with Top Dollar. Never.
Ooh, yes. Well, I'm far more excited about this than you are.
What do we got? We got, what is it, 16 days left?
What?
I haven't told my wife about it yet because she's gonna be pissed if it has to.
I seriously think the place to do it is the Chick-fil-A parking lot. Just that's what happens on Sundays at Chick-fil-A's Braun painting matches.
But anyways, yeah, other than that, they had a video package for Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark, who are going to be in the women's tournament. That's at least, I don't know, introducing them to the main roster crowd.
Right.
I'm not sure how I feel about the Liv Morgan storyline right now, because kind of my bitch session at the last one, I think still plays into it on this one. Because the people booed, they're pushing really hard for Liv Morgan in the babyface role. And they have the Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey thing, and then Liv Morgan getting attacked by Shayna Baszler. And I personally think if they really wanted Liv Morgan to be the babyface here, they should have let Shayna Baszler injure her.
Right.
And beat her up and all that stuff. Get her that babyface beat down so she can come back with fire the next week and be like, you may have beaten me up, but you won't keep me out. I am still the champion. I'm still gonna wrestle even if I'm injured or whatever, right? But having her get this, instant comeuppance on Shayna Baszler, I don't know, it seemed kind of bad. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and especially when you got everyone excited with a potential Shayna versus Rousey matchup, which obviously, thank you people for finally fucking listening to me. After that happening, and I think I'm not alone in that sentiment where I do want to see that happen. Maybe having Shayna be that badass and have injured her at least until she has to face Liv, that would have been perfect, and that would have got the fans back on Liv's side and back on, and basically still kind of making Shayna seem like she's that heel, because eventually we're gonna get a Shayna versus Rousey, I would think, sooner rather than later. Didn't hear much talk about it though necessarily, but I was excited by it.
I think the problem is I don't think we're going to get Shayna versus Rousey. I think the storyline they're telling is Rousey's going to influence Shayna to be a badass again. And at best, we're going to get Rousey and Shayna together. And I don't want that, right?
Right.
Now, I will say this. Rousey, in her heel persona, I've said it from day one, this is the Rousey we've needed. Right? Out and just dumping a bag full of cash and saying, I've been fined for fucking up a referee. Boom. Here's your money. Right? I'm all for that. I'm down with that. The problem is they need to pay off it. And the problem, I think they're just not paying it off because they're teasing the Shayna Baszler storyline. They're keeping her in this thing with Liv Morgan. I think the real thing to have her do is be like, listen, you lost your chance at winning that. You're to the back of the line. And then have her just rip through the entire division. breaking
that's a fair
arms,
statement.
breaking arms as she goes.
And Squash does have very valid. He's not a fan of it, and he's like, she was the ace of spades in NXT. But I don't know, man. Like Trips, come on, just do it. Make her that badass again. You know what I mean? Like
I have to disagree.
I almost thought you were doing the Jay-Z diamond sign for a second.
Not
I
doing that.
have to
Yeah,
say
that's
that I truly believe
It's really hard to get my thumbs to light up.
There you go.
that Liv should continue to win, but the win can't be fucking janky. It can't be shitty.
Yeah.
Stop making her fight MMA people though. Like no one's gonna believe this.
She's got to win convincingly, even if it's overcoming cheating and all of this stuff. This whole.
I mean, we've shown numerous times that Shayna Baszler is susceptible to putting on the Kirifuda clutch and somebody flipping back.
And somebody flipping back and pinning her, right?
Okay, that's an okay thing to do, and still have Shayna Baszler look like a fucking dominant machine.
Right. Here's the way you do the finish with Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam in a way that doesn't ruin Liv Morgan, right?
Well, but it's
too late.
SummerSlam. Okay.
Yeah, it's too late to do it, but this is how you should have done it, right? You have Liv Morgan get up, get the pin, 1, 2, 3,
and
Rousey doesn't release.
Right.
The referee starts counting, then Liv Morgan starts tapping because she's like, I got the 3, let me go, and all this stuff. Right. And then finally the ref pulls her apart, and then Shayna Baszler, and then Rousey's like she was tapping, and they go, she'd already gotten the 1, 2, 3 on you.
The other thing you can add is you can just have her grab the rope. You can have Liv grab the rope as though she's trying to get out of the hold, and then she gets the pin, but it looks like shenanigans when she's really just trying to break the fucking hold.
Yeah,
like that works. They're close enough that she could have just reached out. And grabbed
that works.
Rope.
I prefer the idea of having her still get the clean pin,
sure.
and it being a clean pin. And Rousey then becomes the heel because she refuses to admit that she got pinned cleanly, and so she's making up excuses, right? Versus this way, it looks like she punked out and she shouldn't have won, right?
Right.
I think that's what we can all agree.
Yeah.
Is it looks like she shouldn't have won, which makes us not 100% sure that Rousey's the bad guy, And Rousey just needs to be the bad guy. She just needs to just clean house and break arms. I would love to see Shayna go to Raw and Rousey on SmackDown and Shayna on Raw have kind of a partnership where they're both like, listen, we're just going to break arms until we're both champions. Right?
Straight up. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, because, they can't get Marina Shafir back.
Nope, sure can't.
Nope.
And I don't know what Jessamine Duke's doing right now, but she was, the skinny, terrifyingly thin person.
Yeah.
So
hopefully she's
probably
getting
ready to play her role as fucking Skeletor in a movie. I went there. I fucking went there. I skinny shamed somebody. And I'm sorry, but
I would like to point out that Skeletor, despite having a skeleton face, was a beefy man.
Yes, he was. The action figure was equally as studly as He-Man.
So
He-Man.
Let's see, what is Jessamine Duke doing right now? She has done nothing wrestling since she got released.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think people are afraid she's going to get hurt. Like doing a clothesline.
Yeah. I mean, about the only thing I can wonder is if she's thinking about trying to re-enter MMA.
I mean,
training for that.
Well,
in featherweight, super featherweight.
That could be possible. Maybe she's because I mean, look at the case of unfortunately Chris Statlander, right? Mm-hmm. she had gotten injured again, and she was literally just going apparently to get the win off Thunder Rosa for the championship at the New York show. They were setting her up there, and
whether she was getting the win or not, they put her as the number one contender, and she was in the spot of being featured, and then tears her other knee up.
This story right now that's happening needs to have a women's tag and needs to have Thunderstorm win it.
Oh, Thunderstorm is kick-ass. I agree with that.
They absolutely need that before they give them the title shot.
Yeah.
And they can tell the sportsmanship story. They can tell the slow falling out story. Either one, if that's what they want. But at the end of the day, women's tag probably should happen before trios. I said what I said.
I for the most part agree. I'm gonna say the unpopular thing. I think before AEW introduces women's tag, and before they should have introduced the trios, I think they need more TV time.
I wouldn't disagree with that. At least an ROH line.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, they need ROH, and they need to now, once they get ROH TV deal of some sort, they need to separate ROH off and run it separately, and no longer have the Ring of Honor champion, the television champion, the pure champion on their product. They do need to get those separate, because that does create a clog. But even without the Ring of Honor championship, right? They've got the Men's World, the TBS championship, or the TNT championship, I should say, the men's tag, the women's championship, the TBS championship, the
technically the FTR,
although that's
FTW.
Unsanctioned FTW, but that's unsanctioned, right?
FTR is a great tag team, though. I mean, just name them anytime you want.
The All Atlantic championship.
But that's not on AEW's though, so it's kind of like...
Well, it is on AEW. It's an AEW official title that they air the matches both on Dark and on regular on their Dynamite show. So,
or at least highlights of it.
Okay, highlights though.
Minimum, they do highlights.
At minimum, they do highlights, but on Dark, they do the entire matches.
Oh,
they show the entire matches on Dark.
Oh, that's
they partner with other,
which allows them to give some production value to those other
indie feds.
But so that puts us at 6 titles, not counting the FTW title, and not counting the trios title and the eventual women's tag titles. I want to make sure I'm counting.
All Atlantic was the one they should have not done.
I like the All Atlantic, and I like the fact that they're doing it going around. It's fine. But in the end, again, even with that one, they still they need more TV time. Now, they can alleviate some of this problem by actively doing storylines on Dark and Elevation that affect the main roster, main shows, right? Which is one of the things they're not doing much of right now. Right now, Dark and Elevation are just kind of like shows that have wrestling. And for the most part, don't seem to affect the main storylines.
Right.
Like, they kind of eke in a bit, but they don't really. And what they need to do is on an episode of Dynamite, be like, we have to show you the finish of this match that happened on Dark. Because it plays into this storyline. At the end of this match, so-and-so helped so-and-so steal the victory. And that led up to this rematch here where so-and-so is barred from ringside. Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
To give people a reason to watch Dark and Elevation, right? And then Dark and Elevation have to step their game up and be storyline-driven, not just wrestling-driven. Potentially have some backstage segments and so on and so forth, right? But I think as much fun as 1 hour rampages are, I think they need to be a 2 hour.
I really like the 1 hour though.
I know, but I
really like it.
Because right now,
How's the answer to do that? Because that puts them really, really late.
It does. It's either put them late or have them compete
Start
for
earlier
1 hour,
on SmackDown.
which is tough.
Or
It's either
switch
that,
nights.
or switch nights, or get a third show. Move Dark or Elevation to actual TV.
I think Elevation could easily go on Saturday night and be your Saturday night main event competitor with real television time.
Yes. Now, I will point out,
because it's already filmed anyways, so just fucking put
I'm
it
going
on
to point out
Saturday
that the worst nights of the week for television in general
or Saturdays and Sundays.
are Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
Worst nights of the week.
but
So go be on Saturday or Sunday where wrestling will draw fans to those nights. Now, unfortunately, during football season, American football season is not the time to compete on Saturday and Sunday night.
Yeah.
But we have shown that Raw does well during NFL's night football. So Sunday night might be okay. I don't think they can compete with college football. There's too many games going on.
the only caveat I take with this concept of it being their Saturday night main event is pointing out that in WWE, when was the last time something happened on main event that impacted the real storylines?
True. Okay, so you make it more than that. You make it the new Sunday Night Heat.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Sunday night's the night you want to go on. I think Sunday night would be the better night to go on than Saturday night if you're going to introduce it now.
Well,
I think if you're not introducing it now, then if you wait till February or later and give yourself 6 to 8 months of not competing with American football in your primary audience. I understand that soccer is on in other countries, but not competing with American football or major sports on Saturday night would be a gift. You're going to compete with NBA. You're going to compete with hockey. Not much, but you're going to compete with hockey. You're going to compete with baseball.
Canadians beg to differ on that. Not much.
Correct. I understand. It's the lowest viewership of the big four.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to say, if they're going to go on Sundays, I think the real thing is to do a 1 hour show, Elevation, Sundays at 6 p.m. Central.
Ooh.
So an hour earlier. And,
okay.
And my argument for that is this, right? That it doesn't compete as much with Sunday Night Football's main game. It still is going to compete with football because there's the afternoon games that it'll overlap with.
That'll run long. Yep.
But the afternoon games...
you're only competing in those markets.
Exactly. But also, the afternoon games, importantly, are considered by the NFL to be less premium than the night games.
They're also almost over at 5 o'clock Eastern or 6 p.m. Central.
There's often a little bit... But on top of it...
You might compete with your first match or something like that.
It comes down to this. Then, that time slot can be instantly used for kickoff shows for pay-per-views.
If you're on Sundays.
Sundays from 6 to 7 now becomes... Remember when Sunday Night Heat used to be the lead-in to the pay-per-views?
Absolutely. I thought it was great.
It was fucking awesome.
And at least there was wrestling and not a pre-show of fucking Rosenberg talking for nothing.
Exactly. You had a kickoff show that had actual wrestling, that had storylines that played into the pay-per-view.
The other piece is it gives you one more time where you say WWE is just trying to be like us.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did with so many people said that AEW was trying to go up against NXT, and of course other people said NXT was trying to go up against AEW. It becomes a talking point again, and I don't think that hurts anything.
But so that
also those can be your clean shows. The other thing, I also think a morning show on Saturday might not be a bad idea.
Fuck yeah, Fernando. Fuck Rosenberg. Fuck him right in his stupid ass.
I don't think Fernando swings that way, bud. I mean, I don't know, but
I don't know if Rosenberg swings that way either, but
I don't think he would have an option if we're fucking.
He's gonna find.
Anyway, I think Saturday morning show would be a good idea for AEW. It is what got me into wrestling. There are still kids who, granted, maybe playing video games, maybe doing this, maybe doing that,
Right.
but they have control over the streaming or over television at that time.
Yeah. And so that's my thought is we take it to Sunday nights, we make it so most weeks it's just another Sunday night wrestling show. We can tell storylines and all of this stuff, but it's on TV. It gives them some time to let the titles flow a little bit more. And then on pay-per-view times, it becomes the lead into the pay-per-view.
Smart.
It's the kickoff show. And unlike WWE Network, where the kickoff is free on YouTube, but then you have to go to the network to watch the actual show or whatever. You can. This is something that you can just watch on your regular TV, and maybe then it drives pay-per-view buys.
Rosenberg is on paper. I'm just going to answer this question real quick. He has a podcast, and it's really, truthfully, it's an exceptional podcast. I think even Smarts would say that.
He's
He's horrible.
I don't know why though he's so horrible when his
fantasy booking podcast, when he does his fantasy booking, which is different than ours. Ours are unlikely scenarios. His is trying to book where things should go. The dude should have been a writer for WWE. Yeah. It is fantastic every time I hear him do one. So that's what he has to do with it. That doesn't mean WWE's ever listened to him, but he has a very solid following on podcast, and it's just him. Well, it's not just him. It's something he built himself.
Right.
But he sucks. I hate him.
On WWE television, yes.
Yes.
I think because he's also filtered in a sense. Because honestly, everybody on that cast, that table rather, is pretty trash. And it's almost to the point where I think Rosenberg just goes in there and gets all giddy and whatever. Maybe they're not even given a script, but JBL sounds horrible. Booker T sounds horrible. What's her face? The host, she's good. She seems the most scripted out of everyone else that is there. And she does good. She's good. She's professional. The others are just looks like they just came in drunk or something because they're so not into it. I get it. They're having fun or whatever, but it doesn't make for a good pre-show.
I think making your pre-show behave like a news channel morning show,
or
it behaves like a news channel morning show or.
But it's not even that scripted though. I wouldn't even compare it to a news channel morning show. I would compare it to like a tailgate party before the big game. You know what I mean?
That's right, we do. Get in the comments on WWE stuff. Get in the comments.
Yeah, do it. But yeah, and I don't know. And I guess he just goes in there. And I get it. I mean, maybe I would be like that too if it was an exciting pay-per-view. But some of these pre-shows where we know it's a shit card, they have to go and be excited by it and, say whatever. Yeah. But
now, it will be interesting to see. I will give Rosenberg at least this much leeway. It'll be interesting to see how much better it gets in future pay-per-views when he doesn't have a Vince McMahon in his ear.
Do you think there's a Vince McMahon on the show?
I think believe there's at minimum a foundational statement released, a memo released of how they're to do that pre-show.
Yeah. That's fair. I don't think he's in their ear though, because they're still a little bit too relaxed, and it almost comes out unprofessional.
I do not think a single thing hit actual airwaves that Vince McMahon was not a part of until now.
Maybe it is also too clean though, so that could be a thing. Because the bump is better than the pre-show. Mm-hmm. The bump is significantly better. And
but
I don't
Vince
know if
doesn't
Vince
touch that.
He doesn't? Okay, that's what I was about to ask. Yeah. And that is,
I think when it came to the pay-per-views, there wasn't a single segment of reviews that Vince didn't have on. Period.
I gotta go tinkle. I'll be back.
Tinkle. Grown-ass.
Why does everyone fuck around when I say tinkle? It's a word that's used. No?
Grown ass man.
You've
Like a
never
tinkle.
said tinkle? No?
Not was like 12.
Not you. You completely froze there. Not till I was is what I heard.
Not since I was like 12.
All right. Well, my brain cells tell me I'm
That's
still
right.
12.
See,
so that
because
works.
fucking babies use that word. I got a tinkle.
Well, I'm a baby at heart, so screw you all. I got a tinkle. I'll be back.
I feel like the dad who should have been yelled, "Why didn't you go before we left?"
That would have been awesome.
Indeed.
I still didn't leave yet.
Are you peeing with us in the bathroom?
No, I am not. That's why I'm telling you and notifying
You can bring us with you. We can.
No, I don't feel like tinkling with a laptop on my hand. Okay, that's gonna be weird.
On your hand. No, you should put it on your lap. Hence,
You're gonna sit down and pee now?
laptop.
Real men sit down to pee.
That's fair. Fair point. Lazy men sit down to pee. Not real men. Lazy men. I'll be back.
I say both. Anyways, it's a weird thing.
Real lazy men sit down to pee.
We're gonna move on and talk a little about AEW because AEW had some things this week. Wasn't great, but there were really good things to it. So Quake on the Lake, by the lake, whatever it's called, right? It was literally a fucking like fourth week in a row, that their Dynamite Rampage had a special name. And guess what? It's going to continue this week. Which, it stops being special if it's every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you had Fallen, so weeks. Or no, weeks. Fallen 1 week. Quake by this coming week is going to be the fucking, what did they end up calling it? It's the tie-in, Amazon's fucking Game of Thrones spinoff that they have coming up. They got a name for it. What it's going to be called? So we're getting 2 weeks in a row.
Games.
Yes, you're right, Ambrosia. We do need to make a JLB tinkle. That do.
Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle.
One won't get removed for copyright. So the new Jesus, tinkle's got me all weird. So we had
that's
the coffin match, Darby Allin versus Brody King. Start show. This was great. I thought it was great storytelling. I thought Darby Allin is now undefeated and great to establish that the specialist in, and that's match where basically anything goes and you win by putting a person in the coffin. It also played from the matches Darby Allin and Brody King, where Brody King choked him out twice, hanging him off the side of the right.
That was
exactly
and
what
so that on this inverse, Darby was able to choke Brody King out, hanging off the side of the ring when he fell into the coffin.
And that was the fucking
it also
opener.
was
the opener.
That was the opener.
Oh.
That was the first match. It was so well done that as soon as it closed, there wasn't any jankiness about it or whatever. Closed by itself. Great. It did also have where Buddy Matthews, I guess his name, went to often for Darby winning at one point, and Sting was in, got out and beat up on Buddy Matthews, which is always fun for me. See Sting come out.
It's Sting.
It's Sting. Lucha Bros versus Rune Andrade El Idolo. which was a fun tornado tag match. Those are always fun with Ross is on commentary because he fucking doesn't understand tag. Like, I don't get it. People are tagging out. But it was fun. I always, every week, every time when Roosh comes out, I like another for how big Roosh is. Like, I'm not saying he's Braun Strowman or anything, but like in my brain, he's a luchador. He's a cruiserweight, and then he gets in the ring, and I'm like, holy fuck, that guy's a heavyweight. That guy's.
He's just amazing. It's like he almost gets better every time, but he's just always consistently good. So every time you see him, you know it's not a dull, match. Like he's just
almost
really
like somebody
awesome.
who watched Ring of Honor kept telling you guys how
I know.
good Roosh was, and
You did. You done did it.
Anyways,
Blah 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 blah.
Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
Lou
blah,
just
blah,
come
blah.
out and beat up some. I know it's Anthony Henry, and he's name on Dark, but he's still a jobber. So that was fun. What else happened?
What else did we have?
Wardlow came out to save Ricky Starks, so they set that as kind of a new sort of team. But the big Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler came out, him up. Madison Rain versus Jill. To a lot of fans, this might have been the first time you saw Madison Rain in action.
Well, it was her AEW 2022 debut, right? Dynamite?
Madison Rain, no, it was her Dynamite. It was AEW. It was on Rampage the week before. But it's one of those things. I mean, she's a legitimate like big name in women, and even outside of the ring, she is going to drastically, I feel, help the women's division. She did help set up Jade Cargill for victory that feels big because it's real. Hit Fernando's comment. Roosh is great, but I want him to become a big deal. But I'm worried about that not wanting to do jobs with him. He's the you bring someone in, you want him to be a big deal. Also, need to establish that they can lose, otherwise we'll get. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a nice week. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but in the trios tournament, you also have his brother Dragon Lee there. So you're going to have Andrade, Roosh, Dragon Lee in one ring. And that's going to be fucking nice. And then the main event, and this one is probably the big downside in AEW this week, and bad when but Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho. There were some upsides to it. Chris came out in his Lionheart gear, like strengths, and came out to his ECW theme. He did some things. He put on the liner, which I always like. The match itself just didn't click overall. And maybe I'm the only one.
I didn't care for the Triple H Batista nose ring thing. I didn't care for it in Moxley and Jericho
thing. I get it. Yep, didn't like that.
It was kind of a copy and paste set up there, in my opinion.
I mean, it's just I don't know. It was missing something. It was missing some.
Yeah, and I think it's just because it was really hyped. So we were expecting something maybe better or a little bit more than what it was. So I think like if we ever were to do that, like that would be for me considered overhype of the night because they hyped the shit out of that match. and it just didn't live up to the hype that it was built around. You know,
They did hype the shit out of it, and it did not live up to the hype. But I think, God, I'm gonna get so much shit for this.
don't you dare say you think John Moxley didn't bleed enough.
No, I think maybe Jim needs to start
You're gonna say
reducing his workload.
You said it. All right.
We're not going to give you shit for it. We both said it already.
I just don't think he's up to it.
Well, I just don't think he can be Lion Tamer Jericho kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because that guy was crazy technical wrestler, all that. He can't be that Jericho anymore. You know, him as the what is that dark gimmick he did in Japan? The Painmaker, cool. You know what I mean? The Entertainer, the Wizard, great, no problem. You've built a character around how you can wrestle now as kind of a shitty face heel, where you can, cheat to win and whatever, do minimal moves here and there, do your spots and be gone. You know what I mean? So I think by bringing up his most technical character, it kind of showed like, oh, okay, yeah, that was a 30-year-old character though. So I think that's maybe it. Maybe he has mentioned, I believe, on his podcast that you're going to see a lot more of that type of Jericho. And I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't know, bud. Prove me wrong, please. But age is a thing, like.
And I just don't even know if it's the technical aspect of it. I just think if we were to go back and look at all of the AEW matches this year, and we were to rank the best matches and the worst matches of the year, Jericho's matches would fall all on the bottom half of the table.
Where he was carrying the match you're referring to?
No,
because obviously the Blood and Guts was pretty dang decent.
The Blood and Guts was fairly decent, but I don't think it was decent because of him. I think it was decent because of everyone else. But I'm trying to come up with. Well, here, let's pull up his cage match.
Seriously, my feet. Fuck me, man.
Do you have any foot butter or anything?
Oh, it's upstairs, but I'm committed to the podcast now.
You had your camera off. You can easily just go and get some foot powder or something. At least, man. Poor you.
Maybe I could get some Axe body spray to spray on them.
Wow. No, you should use Ace. It's better. It's the better brand.
Ace body spray, way better. So Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston, the barbed wire death match. That was not a good match. Blood and Guts was okay. Minoru Suzuki and Jericho Appreciation Society versus Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta at Forbidden Door. One of the worst matches of that night. Hair versus hair, Chris Jericho versus Ortiz. Not a great match. Anarchy in the Arena with Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston, and Ortiz and Santana. That went to ref's decision for Jericho. Was not a great match.
That's not true. That was a great match.
I didn't really like Anarchy in the
Arena.
Arena.
Like you said you did during that podcast. You said it was the most fun match. But either way,
we can go back. I don't remember liking it, but just going through this entire year, I feel like if we were to rank the worst matches in AEW this year, Jericho's name would be a repeat offender. In the worst matches of the AEW's entire year, and I don't know. Yeah, AEW gave Jericho the belt when they needed a big name to hold the title while it debuted on Live TV. And the thing is, he was great then. But that was 3 years ago, and a lot can happen to a body in 3 years. 3 years of beating your body up on TV.
Ask Taker.
Yeah, ask Taker. Ask fucking anybody. Right? Ask Bray Wyatt how his body feels now after not wrestling for the last 6 months.
Ask Chris Statlander what can change in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's fair. I think you're also putting Jericho as like, oh, he's a shitty wrestler now. I don't think he's a shitty wrestler. Because he promotes the hell out of the match. And even when he's in the match, he does add a lot of entertainment. Sure, he can't go like he used to, but I wouldn't put him as like the catalyst for making the worst matches on, let's say, AEW's Dynamites, or I don't think that's a fair thing to say, because at the same time, I feel like we would also have some of Jericho's we would also have, in terms of promos and story build up, we would also have Jericho's
that you can talk about those things and everything, but here's the deal. There are a lot of people who built an entire career after their wrestling career was over as a promo, right? Bobby Heenan's best time of his career was after he stopped wrestling, right? $1 Million Man, the heyday of his entire career was after he stopped wrestling.
Well, it was wrestling less.
But then, no, I mean, really, you know, he stopped wrestling and became a manager almost exclusively, and that's when his career skyrocketed. He bought
the title off of Andre.
Yep, and it happened many times, and this is the time where I feel like Jericho needs to understand that his body can't do what he needs it to do in the ring to be a headliner, and if he's still going to be a big name, which he is, he's always going to be in the GOAT conversation, right? Mm-hmm. But if he's still going to be a big name, this is the time for him to turn to, let's give the rub to other people, right? If he becomes the Stokely Hathaway of the Jericho Appreciation Society, where he says, I don't need to wrestle anymore. Look at all the influence I have over these people. Look at all these people who come along and are here because of me, right? And so I don't need to wrestle. Fucking Sammy Guevara will wrestle for me. I don't need to wrestle. Jake Hager will wrestle for me. Daniel Garcia will wrestle for me. Matt Menard and Angelo Parker will wrestle for me, right? Anna Jay will wrestle for me.
Or wrestle security guards.
Yeah,
for you.
I do really get a kick out of the rabid pit bull gimmick for her, where she's just standing around backstage, just waiting for someone to look at her sideways. I'm gonna fucking choke you out.
I did enjoy it.
Who are you? Come over here.
You want to go? No.
I'm for it. I'm here for it. And that's the deal. I'm not saying Jericho doesn't have value. I'm just saying they keep putting him in the main event. And I think it's to the point where he needs to step back and not understand he's no longer main event wrestler. He can still be involved in the main event because he can be used to prop Sammy Guevara up. Prop Ty Conti up.
Still be the leading factor of the main event.
But you don't have to be the active main wrestler to be the leader of a. I mean, heck, fucking. I know we hate to say his name now, but Vince McMahon was the leader of multiple factions over the years, and wrestled in only a handful of matches during that time. You know.
Well. But I mean, it's kind of different.
It is different, but it's still at the same point. It's understanding your strengths. Understanding that your strength is on the mic, in promoting things, in building things up, and giving the stroke to other people. And letting other people be the ones in the ring doing the stuff, right? Because I've said it for 2 years now. Sammy Guevara is a fucking star waiting to happen, right?
Right.
And he's
Waiting to happen.
He's got
Fucking
so much
happening.
Well, he's got so much heat right now. Fucking everyone hates Ty Conti.
No,
And him.
Ty Mello.
Ty Mello, you're right. Correction. Ty Mello. Well, I mean, in fairness to her, she really should have done the name change a long time ago because she's been divorced from Jack Conti for like 3 years now, right? And that's where her name came from.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
She went under Conti because she was married to a Conti, and then they got divorced, and she just kept going by Conti because that's what people knew her as. Mello's her real middle name.
Oh, I thought that was like Sammy Guevara's, like,
Nope.
I don't know.
Mello's her real, so she could have changed to Ty Mello a long time ago, and it would have been fine. Her official legal name apparently is Tainara Mello Guevara now. Fernando agrees. Jericho does not need to be a main eventer ever again and just put young talent over. And
I think that's what he thought he was going to be anyways, but I think
Yeah,
it's
but that's
more
not what
gonna
he's
be
doing
Tony
when he's
Khan.
facing Moxley for
Well,
the title.
maybe that's not him though. Maybe that's Tony Khan. Like, hey, Jericho.
I would agree.
Jericho.
I think
It
there's a
could be.
piece to that you have to say Tony Khan book better.
Mm-hmm. But regardless of all of this shitting on Jericho, the end of Dynamite featured the return of CM Punk,
Right.
setting up CM Punk versus Moxley at All Out in less than a month now.
Is he ready to wrestle though? Because he was like good. Is he selling it still? Because it seemed like he was.
I don't think they would have had him come back if they didn't think he was going to be ready by All Out. Whether he's ready now or not,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Now, there's one thing I have to give AEW a bit of crap for.
Oh,
where was
go
his
get your
belt?
foot powder.
Get your own fucking foot powder.
Where was his fucking
I'm just
belt?
gonna hold them out in front of me instead of underneath my nose. Underneath your nose.
Where was CM Punk's belt?
Yeah.
How do you have your real world champion return to face off with your interim world champion and not have him come out with a belt?
That would have been a great photo op.
That would have been the thing. And the thing is, he's done it before. He himself has done it before. With fucking Cena standing in the ring.
Right.
Holding up the replica spinner belt. Yeah, I just won it. I'm world champion again. And then the music hits, and out comes CM Punk with the real spinner belt.
Right.
Maybe
they didn't want to, because they didn't necessarily they didn't necessarily say it was going to happen at All Out yet. It's not confirmed. So
it hasn't been confirmed. You're
Still,
right.
When you're coming out to call out a dude for
Doesn't
having
happen.
your title,
Yeah.
Well, but that's it, because if they did that kind of photo op though, then that would be implying, hey, All Out, title versus title, what's up?
They
right?
still had them faced off in the ring and him point at the title, right? So they still did this. They set it up. They've been saying for fucking 3 months that it's gonna be title versus title when CM Punk comes back. That Mox is the interim world title holder, the interim world champion, and that CM Punk is the real world champion, and eventually there is going to be a unification match, right?
Right.
So him coming out, whether he had the belt or not, is still implying he's coming to reclaim his role as the world champion.
I think it's implying that it's eventually going to happen. I think if he would have had the title there, it was like, hey, title versus title, All Out, let's go. But because he didn't have the title, is also indication that, hey, CM Punk might not be ready for it.
They would not
know
have,
that I'm seeing you.
would not have brought him out if they did not think he would be ready for All Out.
Well, at the very
That's
minimum,
bad
it
promotion
adds
if they did.
nervousness to Moxley.
Mhm.
Well, but that Moxley's not one to be nervous, but somebody's coming up behind him.
But that's the
So that
deal.
doesn't
Is
work either,
for this
so.
face-off, it should. Now I have a theory, and the theory is that they only have the one belt, and that
They
Moxley's
didn't get a
carrying,
second belt made.
and that they
What did
didn't
they do
have a
with the other
second
belt?
belt.
Oh, because that's the same CM Punk
That's the
belt?
same belt that CM Punk won, because he won it, and 2 nights later went out injured. And so as far as and all it would have gotten was just a little nameplate on it. So all they do is take off the CM Punk nameplate and put on a Moxley nameplate, and it's and the
I just assumed
secret
it was a different belt.
the secret that WWE did is they just went to their fucking merch store and they grabbed a replica belt and they had the interim championship carry a replica belt until they had the unification. Because yes, the real belts are thousands of dollars, right? The replica belts are hundreds of dollars. But the fact that AEW just didn't seem to have a second belt lying around for one of them to carry, you know what I mean? Even if CM Punk came out with a replica belt around his waist, most people wouldn't have seen the difference.
We talked about this, the unavailability of the replica belts.
Yeah, you can't go on Shop AEW right now and buy a replica belt. They apparently ordered so few of them when they did the pre-orders last year that they sold out. But that's my thing is I just think they missed the opportunity because this is when you have the face-off, belt versus belt, 2 belts in the same ring, right? I'm the real champ. You're the interim champ. Someday we're going to fight. And again, they would not have brought him back at this show if they did not plan on building up towards, because they've got a month to build up towards the next pay-per-view. Right?
2 weeks.
It's September 5th. And this
4th.
was 4th, whatever. And
you're right. Okay, it's going to be 2 weeks in this Dynamite. Okay, fair.
Yeah, and I'm going to point out that this particular Dynamite was on August, was it 10th? Right? And so, yeah, it was just under a month, right? So that's 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks to build up for pay-per-view. 3.5 if you want to get really technical, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's still plenty of time to build up for a pay-per-view. But you wouldn't have brought him back for this if you didn't think that that was the plan. And so, anyways, Rampage featured some big stuff happening, including Sonny Kiss turning heel. Importantly, Sonny Kiss wrestling on TV for the first time in almost a year.
Right.
And then Sonny Kiss turning heel. And
with the same faction who the guy was part of that faction beat the shit out of him.
Beat him earlier, yes. Which to me says if he can't beat him, join him sort of thing. It also, in hindsight, makes you go and look and think how much of that was planned, like storyline wise. Sonny Kiss goes out to get beat. Anyways. Because he got the jobber entrance.
Right.
And then got destroyed by Parker Boudreaux. And then joined the team in the end when kicked Orange Cassidy in the nuts. Now, I like that they're finally giving Sonny Kiss something to do after kissing after kicking Orange Cassidy in the nuts. There's a whole lot of fucking.
Also, would have made for good TV if he kissed.
Yeah, it sure would have been fun. Yeah, I would have. You also had Eric Redbeard show up to team with Danhausen. That was a fun thing they teased on Dynamite. Danhausen said, "I've got the big guy with a beard. He'll come help me." And he didn't say who it was. And then on Rampage, it was Eric Redbeard, and they came out as Beardhausen. And you know what? I am really digging this concept of Danhausen chooses someone to be his partner, and then they come up with a tag team name, and then maybe you never see that again. Because we saw Hookhausen one time.
Twice, no?
One time in a match.
Beardhausen.
We saw Beardhausen one time. And
I
as
like
far
it
as,
though. That's awesome.
as far as all,
Danhausen.
yeah, as far as all the notes I have is Eric Redbeard isn't signed any sort of a deal, right? And so now I'm like, do we get him to come out and team with Billy Gunn sometime and it be Asshausen? Does he? I mean, what are the things that can come out of this? I mean, let's keep spitballing with this. He teams up with
Just a bunch of free agents though. Not even like
teams up with
AEW
Lance
stars.
Archer and he does Murderhausen,
Murder. Ooh.
or would it be Hawkhausen? Hawkhausen, I think sounds better.
Yeah.
Have him team up with Claudio Castagnoli, and he could be like Swisshausen.
I think it'd be more cool if he teams up with free agents though. As like
Well,
a one-off.
yeah, but
So,
I mean,
like,
all the one-offs can be. I mean, it
Warhausen?
can be whoever. Warhausen, yeah.
Dadhausen?
Yep. Come on, bring Dan the Dad. Come on, Dan the Dad.
Or you're
it
grounded
just
if you don't
becomes
bring
the
it
team
AEW.
Danhausen.
Uh,
yeah.
Dadhausen.
Dan the Hausen.
Dadhausen. Dan the Dad.
Yes.
We already said
that one.
Oh, I thought you said Dan. Okay, I'm sorry.
And then later they said Dan Housen because that was funny because he's Dan the Dad. We had the tag match, the mixed tag match, Sammy and Tay Mello versus Dante Martin and Sky Blue. I'm always happy to see Sky Blue on my TV because she's phenomenal. And as far as I know, she's just on a per appearance deal. But AEW really needs to change that because she's fucking great.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. She's great. Don't get me wrong. It has nothing to do with that. But at the same time, like they have also so many women that they're just not doing anything with. I get that it's slowly getting better, but I still feel like the only person we're really kind of seeing is Jade Cargill get any kind of push. And
well, we just talked earlier about Chris Statlander getting the push and almost being about ready to win.
Well, I mean, and that's fair, but I
And we
mean,
talked
these
about-
are the only two women getting any
we talked
kind
about
of
Tony
push.
Storm getting a big push, and we're just talked about Tay Conti getting a push. But again, if your argument is they have too many women, then the answer is not they can't add another woman. The answer is we need to see them
Better
more on
rotate.
TV.
Yeah.
and I would 100% agree with that. But they only
I
have
just
3
also-
hours of TV time. Remember,
Right. Which is horrible with what they can do with the women that they have. So adding more women to the mix, I feel I don't trust them. They can't even deal with what they have now. Having more might not help them.
I think I know what the problem is there, though. Stephanie has not given them the rights to women yet.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Stephanie
good
invented women, and it's important that she did not sign off on this. You are correct on that.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You gotta know what the problem is, guys.
Gotta know what the
Gotta
problem is.
But I will say,
Not a
here's the
phenomenal
deal, is,
woman talent,
like,
though. Don't get me wrong with that. Tons of phenomenal talent on the AEW women's roster, just horribly booked.
But here's the deal: is like looking at this women's roster, I can 100% say that I feel that Sky Blue is better than Rebel, better than Paige Van Zandt, although we've only seen her wrestle once officially,
Or seen her on TV and like
better than Leva Bates, which I like Leva Bates, but Leva Bates has a background role as brand coordinator, and she's working hard at that. I feel she's unfortunately better than Emi Sakura for a lot of reasons. And so that instantly puts her there is dead weight on the women's roster. And I'm not saying that we need to cut some people, but there's also a lot of people injured right now. Red Velvet's out injured, Layla Hirsch is out injured, Chris Statlander now out injured. And so
Layla Hirsch is injured.
Yep, Layla Hirsch has been out
Shit.
for she fucking
Explains
tore
why.
tore up her knees, like her ACL and MCL.
Ooh.
Right when she was about to get, like, they were building up that feud between her and Chris Statlander, and then she went out.
Oh, that explains why they never got a.
But and that's why I think Sky Blue is better than a lot of people on the women's roster. I would love to see Sky Blue versus fucking Kira Hogan, Sky Blue versus Hikaru Shida versus Athena versus what's the name?
Speaking of Athena, that's one we haven't seen nearly enough.
Well, yeah, because she's kind of in the shuffle with the Jade, right? Her three women are going against Jade's three women. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they're even kind of messing with that. Like, or just give us like they're doing okay with it, but I feel like they're still not giving it enough attention. No, I don't know. Like,
well, again, I think a lot of that has to do with TV time, and that's why I feel like they need to add TV time. And I personally would say, if they can't add TV time, then I feel like adding a specific YouTube show. They've got Dark Elevation. How about a specific YouTube show designed to showcase the women? Right?
I think that's gonna get a lot of backlash, though. If anything, start putting a lot more. Well, I guess maybe they do, but start maybe doing a lot more. You were saying how Elevation and things should be directly booked onto the should have a linkage to the main roster. Have a lot of women maybe do a lot more Dark Elevation, and
they already usually, since you don't watch Dark and Elevation,
that's valid too, though.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know, they feature the women fairly heavily on Dark and Elevation, but because they don't tie into the main storylines, hence my original point.
Right.
But if they were to start to continue to feature the women just as much as you do on Dark and Elevation, but have a show, even if it wasn't weekly, even if it was just once a month, a YouTube show that was, here's where we're going to showcase exclusively women on this, right? Because we have this roster of women that don't get enough airtime because we don't have enough airtime. So now we take them and we're going to put them on and we're going to focus on them and we're going to highlight them so people know, right? You hired Madison Rayne to be your coach for the women's division. You obviously want your women's division to flourish, right?
Right.
You wouldn't have gone out of your way to hire Madison Rayne as head
Did
coach.
she not also randomly get injured? Wasn't there a talk after the match she had gotten hurt? But maybe it wasn't anything serious, so maybe
Madison Rayne
with. Yeah,
they might have played. I can't remember offhand. They might have played an injury angle with her, but she's not injured. I mean, it was against Jade Cargill, so they could play because they did a whole thing where other people ran in to beat her up, and then Athena actually showed up, if I'm remembering correctly, and came into the ring and chased off the baddies.
Right.
But it's an angle, if anything. But that's the deal. She was brought in to be a coach and wrestler secondary. So you obviously want it to succeed. You have like legitimate stars like Toni Storm, Ruby Soho, fucking Mercedes Martinez is phenomenal. Chris Statlander, even though she's injured, Jamie Hayter is great. Hikaru Shida. You've got some people to show off. Britt Baker, so you could have, even if you did it, you know how they do these Battle of the Belts every couple of months, right?
Right.
Do a women's special, exclusively women. Do an Evolution style special event.
Yeah, and make it one of your Dynamites for fuck's sakes or something.
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
You want Fight for the Fallen, Beach Break, have a special Evolution themed week or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Anyways, Sammy and Ty was fun. My only problem with it was because of how quickly and it was quick, the crowds turned on Sammy and Ty together. Which, don't get me wrong, understand, they are unbearable together. right? I'm happy for them. Watching them on their vlog, they're really happy and everything, but on TV, right? Fucking no, I don't want to see it. They got so much heat right away, and even Tony Khan has admitted he was unprepared for how much heat they would get. He thought that, Ty's super popular, Sammy's super popular. They're both faces right now. This is awesome. Put the two faces together, and it'll be great. And what happened was everyone saw it and was like, fuck no, I hate them now.
Yeah.
I legitimately hate them. And that's fine.
The thing is,
But my worry is Sky Blue and Dante Martin are legitimately dating. I don't know if you knew that.
right. Yeah.
But they
well,
are.
I mean, I kind of figured that on.
That's why they paired them together against this. I
Right.
don't want that to happen to Dante and Sky.
I don't think it's going
I don't
to.
think it will, and the reason it won't is Sammy Guevara proposed to his ex-girlfriend on television.
Yeah. I think
Indeed.
that has
That had
a
a lot to do with it.
I think that had a
which
lot to do with it. But here's the deal. I didn't see that backlash on Sammy's vlog, right? Which did have people going, what happened to Pam? Pam was a regular character on Sammy's vlog. It didn't happen until they went on TV and kissed on TV. And then people were like, no, fuck this. I hate them now. And they've got nuclear heat.
Now,
and
on the bright side, they've both been very, very, very good with their heat.
Yes.
Yes.
They're exploiting it. They, as soon as it got through to Tony Khan, how much heat they got, and he realized it, he pivoted to turn them full on heel with it. And they're doing good with it now. But I think the lesson Tony Khan should take from this is you have to be very, very careful with having real life partners, on-screen partners, right?
Dante and Sky were good though. I enjoyed them together.
They were okay.
They were
okay.
You know,
I think this is. I guess what I'm trying to say is one time is fine. I just don't want to see this becoming a regular thing with either Dante or Sky. Like, let them come out, have this one program with Sammy and Ty, and then get it over with, and then move on. And let Sky Blue wrestle her, her own matches. Let Dante wrestle his own matches. Have him team up again with Evan Bourne. Yes, I know that's not his name in AEW. I just totally fucking forgot.
I always remember Evan Bourne.
Matt Sydal. There we go. Have him team up with Matt Sydal again or whatever.
Who did he turn his back on? It wasn't Dante. Who turned their back on Matt Sydal? Or am I thinking of or it was teacher and student and he turned no, I think I'm thinking of Uriorty there. What's his name? Matt Uriorty? No, I'm saying his
Lee
name.
Moriarty, yeah, and that's who it was. They teamed up for a while and then he turned his back to join the bad guys for Ring of Honor now. So
right. Didn't he also give someone else's card this week?
Stokely Hathaway gave someone his card this week. He was trying to recruit who was he recruiting? Oh, the Ass Brothers Gun Club.
Yes, okay.
Ass Boys.
That was fantastic.
That
was so great watching Mr. Ass. You guys are an embarrassment.
Now I want to have a conversation about Parker Boudreaux.
Yes.
The
Baby
next
Brock.
Brock Lesnar.
Baby Brock.
Baby Brock. They announced after his Rampage debut, where he destroyed Sonny Kiss and then later was a part of the Sonny Kiss turn later on, where Ari Daivari faced off against Orange Cassidy, the Trust Busters.
Oh, that's
Am I the only one who just wasn't really impressed with Parker Boudreaux? Am I the odd man out on this?
I don't think you should have him in a team. I think he needs to be a singles guy with maybe a manager. Yes, I know, Paul Heyman-esque, Brock Lesnar-esque there. But I don't think he should be in a team. He seems weird if he's in a group.
You seem weird.
I am weird.
I don't have a problem with him being in the group because in this particular situation, Ari Daivari is playing the manager role, even though he's also a wrestler. But he's playing the manager role. I'm not a fan of Slim J, but whatever. Fucking, we're supposed to not like them. They're the heels, so that's fine.
Slim J's not a fan of you either.
Yeah, then that's fine.
Mostly
That's fair.
because he doesn't know your podcast.
That's fair.
exists.
That's fair. It's all fair.
Yep.
But I watched Parker, and I watched him. He debuted on Dark a couple weeks ago, and I watched that too. Like, and I didn't watch a ton of NXT when he wrestled as Harlan there, and he didn't wrestle much. He mostly was Joe Gacy's muscle.
Right.
But I don't know. He's just not impressive to me. Like, I watched him this week, and I thought to myself, yeah, I see why NXT cut him.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I want to give him a little bit more time,
I
though.
think squash artists typically make you feel that way. Goldberg was a freak in terms of being a squash artist that people got pumped about.
Right.
But I think as a whole, I mean, we don't like Brock partially because he was a squash artist, and so we took Kofi Kingston, who everybody likes.
But I don't not like him. I'm just not impressed. Like, it's not because there has never been a Brock Lesnar match that he hasn't impressed me. I can dislike him and be like, I hate that he comes and squashes my favorite wrestlers or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's kayfabe heat. That's heat is what it is. Parker Boudreaux came out and I was just like, meh. Like,
I'm sorry you feel that way.
He came out with the little bitch titties and out of shape, body, and threw people around. I was like, meh. He doesn't have the look to be the squash artist to me. He makes stupid little faces.
I
want to give him more time. I don't know.
I was very not impressed with him. And it's been rare that AEW has announced, so-and-so is all elite after a debut, that I was just like, I was fine without him. He does nothing for me.
I just think because he's done nothing for a while, though. It's not like a big WWE star for namesake purposes, whatever have you. I want to give him a little bit more time, though. I don't know. I don't think his wrestling is all that bad. I'm just maybe not happy with where he's placed, but I do want to see him wrestle a little bit more before I jump on the hate bandwagon. Yeah.
I just, and maybe some of it is, all of this talk about him being
the next Brock,
Brock Lesnar, and him coming out. And the thing is, give me a second here. Let me figure out the stats here. Because they say he's like the next Brock. They advertise him as 6'4", 302 pounds.
Oh, is he 6'4"?
He does not look 6'4".
He definitely doesn't look 6'4".
No. He looks like maybe 6 foot. If even that. And I'm telling you, he looks out of shape to me. Like, not out of shape in the fact that he's like an everyman.
But like Bubba, Bubba Dudley out of shape.
But like Bubba Dudley out of shape. Here, I'm trying to see if I can find a
Hacksaw Jim Duggan out of shape.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I don't know. I think every wrestler deserves some time, but I mean, at the end of the day, we don't see Joey Janela anymore because enough people were just like, meh, he's the blood and guts kind of guy. He's the dirty match guy.
Right. I mean, but that's not fair, man, because
You got a
it's
freak
really not
left there. And
Yeah, I'm saying I wasn't the one who started calling
right,
him
but
Baby
neither
Brock,
was he.
right?
You know, so you can't do that. Like, give the guy a chance. Like, put him alone. Give me a picture of him alone. You can't.
I
Do
will
that. That's
say,
really not fair.
the person he reminds me the most of is Dexter Loomis. And I think that's a better character move for him. That's just where I'm at
Not
with
a good
it.
enough resolution.
But I did want to actually jump back to WWE for a moment. I mean, we can have our opinions on Parker Boudreaux, but we don't see him yet. So there's not enough to go off of.
I know.
There's a booking issue on Raw.
Oh.
And the booking issue on Raw this week was in this particular spot. Bobby Lashley versus Ciampa for the U.S. title. Match position after that is a match that we don't want to see. And then Dolph Ziggler and Chad Gable.
I like him. He's like an MMA fighter. I like it. I don't know. I like his he needs to bulk a bit more, but I don't know.
A bit more?
A bit more.
I think he needs to lose some surface
If anything, he needs to cut.
insulation, yes.
You know.
Okay.
But my point still being, if you're gonna have him come in and be a monster, right? Fucking like this is literally a screenshot from his debut here when he came in. This is literally what he looked like when he
You're
came
obsessing.
in.
He drank some Haterade instead of his one of his energy drinks there, and it shows.
Like Ari Daivari and Slim J look in better shape than him. I would be more scared of the other two people in that picture.
I don't know. Those chest tats get me scared, though. I don't know.
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. He looks like he would kill me, like murder me in an instant second. He doesn't look like Brock. I fucking get it. But I could see this guy as like an MMA fighter coming down to the ring. He's not built like crazy. He doesn't have, but I mean, bro, his chest and his shoulders.
But his gimmick isn't MMA fighter.
No, I know.
His gimmick is he's a monster, right? And fucking Will Hobbs.
He was an MMA fighter, so
Will Hobbs looked better in his debut and looks even better now. But people gave Will Hobbs crap because he was brought in as a monster and he didn't have a cut physique, right? But they're bringing him in and they're portraying him like a Wardlow, and he looks like an Eddie Kingston.
Wow, what a scary analogy.
I mean, you're giving Eddie Kingston credit. Like, damn. What the
so they have
your storyline
already built.
Okay.
Dolph Ziggler and Ciampa is storyline built, right? That has not had a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, 3 matches that include the Ciampa, Miz, Ziggles, AJ stuff. So Bobby Lashley beats Ciampa, which is fine. Random match that was just not good. Dolph Ziggler comes out, and then AJ Styles and the Miz. And there's no interaction between those 3 matches. And one of them is almost a guaranteed interaction. Dolph Ziggler could have easily attacked Ciampa in the ring and then waited for Chad Gable to come out.
Why would he attack Ciampa, though? Dolph Ziggler was initially attacking Theory. And fucking Theory.
I thought he was attacking the Miz and Theory.
No, it was all Theory because he always made Theory lose.
Well,
I
then
didn't.
never mind. Fuck that.
I
That's
never
horrible.
took. Either way, they really didn't do anything with that. But I never took it as him attacking.
Also, the piece of it I don't like is the fact that it's almost versus two local guys in a handicap match and it's destroyed.
I don't think Trips knows what to fucking do with almost though. To be honest with you, like
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I really like. What the fuck do I do with you, bro? I didn't know they piled shit that high. Like, you're not Taker, you're not Kane, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, the guy has no charisma at all. I don't care if you have. I don't think if you had Paul Heyman by his side, I don't think Paul Heyman could get him over. I really don't.
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of facial expression that shows that you're a monster. You, even when you try to, I feel like, oh, okay, you're just the guy who's frowning. Cool.
Fernando agrees. Omos needs to go.
Needs to go. Yeah.
So
GTFO.
Parker Boudreaux looks like
You're still on that. Oh my god!
Jesus.
Stop! Leave him alone.
Sorry,
Poor
I was just
guy.
trying to figure out how fucking old he was because like there's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, when he played football, he
Google
looked
knows
better.
you're obsessed. Google's like, Smarks, go fuck you.
When he
GTFO.
played for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, he
why.
looked better. So it's all been since he left football.
Why are you so
Being-
obsessed with me?
Being
Smarks, I
a
wanna
wrestler has been
know.
bad for him.
Lying that you're hating me when everybody
Heck, he even looked better when he
knows.
signed with WWE than he did when he debuted with WWE. That fucking shows. WWE's got the best fitness fucking equipment on the planet, and
I don't know. Yeah, another point.
I want to take an issue up with. We're going back to WWE because talking about booking problems or booking issues. I want to take issue with the fans who are trying to read into the Austin Theory or just Theory, whatever you want to call them, beatdowns that happened in Triple H's first show back, as if Triple H is going to bury Theory, like Theory was a Vince McMahon project, ignoring the fact that Theory was originally signed from Progress to, or from Evolve to NXT by Triple H. That Triple H had Theory's back from day one.
Yeah, I don't think Triple H is out on Theory. I just think he doesn't really know how to book the Money in the Bank with a guy who's not ready to be the world champion.
And that's what I think it came down to. This wasn't that Triple H was like, I'm going to bury Vince's man. I'm going to show people that Vince's man was not the guy. And it was more, I understand that Theory's not ready yet for this. So let's take him down a notch so that we can build him back up.
Who did Theory get his ass kicked by?
Fucking everybody for that first week.
And then, of course, the worst part is that you can't just have him lose his Money in the Bank like you did. But you've done it too much in the past. And the heat that was on them for doing it with Otis would be the same heat here. You can have him lose again, but you can't have him lose the Money in the Bank to somebody else to put them over, to let them get the title shot.
Well, I mean, they did it with The Miz, no problem, though, with the whole Otis thing.
You thought that was no problem? I thought that was a
no
fucking
problem?
storyline.
Well, I mean, no, but I still
fucking Money in the Bank.
I mean, I wanted Otis to keep it, though. I was so behind Otis.
Exactly, because it was a garbage fucking storyline.
But if they were going to do it,
I would have loved to see Otis cash it in on the tag titles. And I think that's where you should go with Theory.
Not
have
just
him
make
cash
it
it
world.
in.
Yeah.
What?
Not just make it a world cash in, but any title you want.
Have him stupidly cash it in on the wrong fucking title. That's okay.
But make it a thing, though, because I think that would be kind of cool.
Or
title
again,
of your choice.
maybe not even stupidly cash it in, right? Here's the deal: is they always say it guarantees
Why would I
a world title shot, but it doesn't necessarily need to be.
They did. They also did it with Mr. Kennedy.
Otis.
That one was a better storyline, at least. That was
Yeah.
I'll gamble it with you.
They did it with Kennedy?
Edge.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have him come
Edge
and say,
beautiful.
listen, I want that Intercontinental title.
Well, the U.S. Championship's the perfect move. You have Lashley basically run the gauntlet and then have him take the U.S. title off of Lashley, which has already been a feud, but then Lashley's in a world title feud. He's the right guy to put into a world title feud, and Theory's not a bad mid-card champion.
Nope, not at all.
Now I know I can beat you. Well, you weren't part of this gauntlet. Yeah, but I have this. Just have him be obsessed with Lashley a little bit.
Or even have
So
him go after Gunther. Like make him go to SmackDown and have Theory beat Gunther somehow. By the way, Nakamura Gunther, fire. I love that.
Yes, it was.
That was a great match.
I think Lashley's the right move. I think having Lashley go run a gauntlet to try and get a world title shot and obtain the world title shot, and then Theory comes out, hits him with the briefcase, cashes it in, beats Lashley. I think that's the way you can do that. Because he's obsessed with Lashley, and it puts Lashley.
And he's obsessed with getting back his United States
Championship. Yeah.
So this was mine. I wanted it back. Right. 3 weeks ago, 20 days ago, to be precise. In Triple H's first Raw in charge was the Raw before SummerSlam. First, Austin Theory. Got had the promo with Roman Reigns where Roman Reigns says your daddy ain't here anymore, right? And then the Bloodline beat the crap out of Theory, right? And then left him on the ramp. And then the very next thing was Drew McIntyre versus Theory, where he got attacked outside the ring. Theory got the disqualification victory, but then Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre beat the tar out of him in the ring there. And then it went into Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus and Theory, which was beat up on Theory. And then afterwards, he got beat up on the ramp. While Theory was on his way out, the Usos attacked him and beat him up again. It was literally the first hour of Raw, almost entirely, was fucking Theory getting his ass kicked by person after person after person. But again, I
think that also works for his character.
Which sells the same thing that the Miz is known for, which is arrogant guy in the locker room.
Yeah,
like we're so tired, we don't like you. We don't like you, which is also a good reason for him to cash in the wrong place, but really the right place because he has the money in the bank. That's the right place to have him cash in. And but just have him say, I already know I've got my ass kicked by Drew McIntyre. I already know that I've got my ass kicked by this place, by this person, to this person. I got some work to do before I can have that title. But you know what I know? I beat you, and now you're tired.
Yeah. In the end, I guess my biggest thing is there are so many people who are playing it off as this is Triple H sending a message of, we're going to take out your guy and this is what I think of you. But I think they're just all entirely forgetting that before he was Vince's guy, he was Triple H's guy. And Triple H had him on Rocket Strap in NXT until he had to leave, right? Theory was moving up the ladder in NXT. That's why they paired him with Johnny Gargano and put him in the way, is to hotshot him to relevancy. And so there's no way that Theory's going away anytime soon.
Not at all.
Triple H isn't going to bury Theory and everything.
He's just not ready for a world title. That's all it is.
Yeah. If anything, he's going to give him his name back. He's going to be Austin Theory again. And then they're gonna let him build up naturally into a contender. And the thing is, he might never be world champion, right? There are lots of people who never become world champion and have really, really solid careers, right? You
You're
don't
gonna bring
have
up Kurt Hennig again, aren't you?
He's a pretty good example of it. Someone who never got to be world champion, but still had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
But there's more. There's more of them. I mean, you can go out and you can say,
Piper.
Piper
Oh.
is a really good example, right? The 1-2-3 Kid / X-Pac, right? Hall of Fame career. Never a world champion. Because the thing is, the world championship is for a certain level. And it doesn't necessarily mean certain level in terms of performance ability. It means in terms of overall draw, right? You don't, because I've said this before and people get angry, but you got to remember that world championship is just a prop, right? That title belt is a prop to tell a story. Right. And the story you have to tell has to make sense. And just as much as it doesn't always, it wouldn't have made sense for Marco Stunt to challenge for the AEW world title and win it, right? There are a lot of people, it just never makes sense for them to be world champion. And if it does, it makes sense for them to be transitional at best, right? And I'll use a name that we talked about just a little bit ago. Dolph Ziggler's a pretty good example. He's been world champion, but almost every time it was a transitional championship.
Yeah, I would disagree. I think he can actually be a world champion.
I would agree. I'm a Dolph Ziggler fan, but
Dolph Ziggler was a champion, though.
Every time he's been champion, it's been transitional.
Well, there was one that was 130 days or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I think it was still a transition because it was, let's put it on him and build him up until we've got someone else established that we can make a serious contender. And that's fine. Here's the deal is, you need those in the world. Dolph Ziggler's good enough to be world champion, but it's not about good enough, right? It's about popular enough. And Dolph Ziggler has always struggled in the popularity department, right? He's every bit as good. Chad Gable is every bit good enough to be a world champion. Chad Gable will probably never be WWE world champion.
No,
that's fair.
Right?
Yep.
Sami Zayn is another good example in WWE. Sami Zayn's every bit good enough in the ring to be a world champion, will probably never actually be world champion, right? That's not a knock on Sami Zayn. It's not a knock on Sami Zayn at all, right? Because again, one of my favorites of all time, Roddy Piper, never world champion. One of my other favorites of all time, Mr. Perfect, never world champion. Doesn't take anything away from their time. I wish they both had been world champion, but they weren't, and it doesn't take away from their careers.
Just so everybody knows where that idea came from.
Yep. Orange Cassidy could never be world champion in AEW, and I don't think it would take anything away from his career, right? Fucking Danhausen probably never should be world champion, but it's not going to take anything away from his career. Heck, no. Sammy Guevara, as I think he's a fucking star, right? But world champion, even in AEW, still demands a certain
stature.
That's a good word for it. Very good word. Stature.
I think MJF's the smallest guy they could have be world champion. Well, Sammy could in a Rey Mysterio style.
Yeah. I think Ricky Starks might have the body to be world champion.
Yeah, I think Ricky Starks could. Hook probably not.
Unless he has a big body change coming up.
Well, I mean, he just has to keep choking people out in some way, shape, or form. The one that is the hardest for me in AEW on that front is Skater
Darby Allin.
I think Darby Allin's character has it, but the stature, I struggle, man.
Yeah,
I struggle hard. I struggle more with him than I do with Sammy Guevara. I want him to be the world champion. I struggle to see it.
That's the fan part of me wants him to be world champion, but the person who looks at it from a logical and a potential business standpoint understands. How do you tell that story? How do you convincingly tell the story of him being world champion
Also,
and regularly defending it in regular matches against the likes of
It's the Rey Mysterio story.
Brody King? It is the Rey Mysterio story.
I think
And
it works. That works better with a Sammy Guevara though than a. Let's be honest, a tiny Undertaker.
Yeah. He's the thing with Darby Allin is he's scrappy. That's his whole thing. Is he's scrappy and he scrapes out victories. But he scrapes out victories mostly when he's allowed to based on the rules of the match, like a coffin match or a no rules match or a lights out match or whatever, right? But you have a hard time telling the story of him scrapping out a victory against a Brody King, a Malachi Black, a Wardlow, a Jake Hager, a Kenny Omega, a John Moxley, in regular wrestling matches, right?
Did I miss something in our comments? I have no clue why this happened.
That was when JLB started singing that song, Why Are You So Obsessed With Me, when I was still talking about Parker Boudreaux.
Oh, okay.
And she had typed it out and pressed send, but he started singing it before she'd pressed send, so
Gotcha.
it was like they shared the same brain for a while.
Well, that doesn't surprise
Don't
me.
tell her that.
You did?
You mean the two became one flesh here?
When to become one. Sorry,
But
Anyway.
my inner Spice Girl came out.
I agree. There has to be a way to properly build theory, and this was part of the problem with Vince. He wasn't properly building some people. He was overbuilding others, and it just didn't work. He believed that a look mattered more than a performance, and that or a story, and that hurt towards the end. There is another WWE thing to talk about really quickly, and it is that I have no fucking clue why you would have Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah beat Xia Li and Shotzi. I understand they were telling the Raquel. I understand they're telling the Raquel's dominate story.
It's another one
Why
of those
Aaliyah?
situations. It's another one of those
You had
situations.
Aaliyah there to take the fall, man.
Yeah. But it's another one of those situations of WWE booking themselves into a corner. Because you got Xia Li, who you're trying to establish as a potential star. You have Aaliyah, who you called up from fucking NXT and just have her lose all the
way
time.
too fucking soon.
Yeah, way too soon. And she's got a lot of potential, but way too soon. And then you just have her lose all the time. And then you got Raquel Gonzalez, whatever, or Rodriguez, whatever. Yeah. And Shotzi, and all of these people, like I don't think any of them should have lost. But that's the book yourselves in the corner, because two of them have to lose. It's a tag team tournament. Two of them lose, two of them win, And it's like thrown together teams that make very little sense, and I almost wish they'd have done it in a different way, right? Instead of having it being a tag team match and the team wins and goes on, I think they should have had it be like a fatal 4-way where the final two are the winning tag team and now they've got to go off and be a tag team together. You know what I mean? And then you could have told it with a lot of false finishes and almost falls and all of that stuff, with then finally two people getting eliminated and the final two people being there. And now you tell the story of, are they going to be able to exist as a tag team?
Yeah, there's just...
Or something. But yeah, I'm really disappointed with Zaya's run on the main roster so far. And I know she got injured for a bit, and that put her back.
I just
and
feel
all
like
this stuff.
I feel like she should be just flat out spinning, heel kicking, fucking heads off.
She should be kicking people's heads off.
I want Xia Li versus Shayna Baszler, and I want back and forth the striking versus the submission, over and over and over again.
And like Shotzi's been, let's be honest, Shotzi's been kind of lost on the main roster ever since her tag partner got
You're
let
just
go
gonna play
suddenly.
a crazy person.
So yeah, they're like, just
okay.
You remember what Nikki Cross used to do? Do
that only without so dark.
Yeah, just kind of do that, I guess. And so I feel bad for Shotzi. This tag tournament, hopefully it starts making more sense in the future. Because right now it just kind of looks like it's thrown together. Yeah, you went back to Raw.
No,
where you been?
The match for Raw.
Oh, do we know the match for Raw? Let's see if they've got a Raw preview up.
Because the Raw match was it was Dakota Kai and thing.
That was a smart move.
That was a smart move. Yeah.
I do struggle with the fact that Vince has done so much of separating people that it's difficult to enjoy a tag team. That's going to take some time,
and that's going to take. And that's why I say is it's tough because, like, all of the tag teams for the most part in this tag team tournament are just kind of thrown together, right? Because they haven't established.
Also, they should have had the person running around backstage trying to find a partner to be in it. That didn't happen.
Well, that's why I think the idea of having it be instead of just suddenly here's the brackets released, I think there should have been some competitions and some eliminations where the final two people are now tag team partners, or something like cool. That.
Yeah.
To give a storyline, why is Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah teaming? Well, they just happened to be the final two people. And why is it? Oh, it's because Raquel Rodriguez eliminated the other people by herself, and Aaliyah was just a chicken shit and hid in the corner and happened to be, or whatever, right?
At least it would have told a story within the story. That would have been cool. Yep.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the brackets here. For the Raw side, this week should be Alexa Bliss and Asuka versus Nikki ASH and Doudrop, assuming that that's still the route that they're doing.
I feel like it's gonna be. I don't know.
This is the match that the some people were speculating would be Nikki ASH and Doudrop get pulled out of for whatever reason, whether it's the car accident or something else, and then here's the surprise return of Banks and Naomi.
Where is Raw?
I do not know offhand.
Oh, okay. I thought it maybe showed there. Okay. Because maybe if it's in like Boston, Mass, maybe that'd be a thing. I don't know.
And then on SmackDown this week, it should be Nikita Lyons, and Zoe Stark versus Natalya and Sonya Deville.
Which I think is the one in Montreal.
Which I do. I don't know where I think that's going to go because they haven't built up Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark as a tag team at all. Not even on
NXT.
Fucking NXT. Like,
oh, okay.
It's been nothing. And if it was almost anyone other than Natalya and Sonya Deville, I'd be like, yeah, it's definitely going to be them. It's going to be them going on. But with Natalya, I almost see Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark winning, and then it being Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah versus Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark in the semifinals.
Is it Lyons or is it Lions?
It might be Lions. I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention. She's the one that, like,
she's the tribal cheeks, baby. That tribal cheeks.
I know she's got skills, and she was a wrestler outside of it, but her whole character just reminds me too much of the parts of Attitude Era and early Ruthless Aggression Era WWE Women's Division that I hated the most. And so I just kind of tune out whenever she's on. Anyways, on the Raw side, if it stays Nikki ASH and Doudrop, then I feel Alexa Bliss and Asuka go through hands down. If it's a surprise someone else, Sasha and Naomi or whatever, then this is probably where Alexa Bliss and Asuka end, and they go on. So Fernando says that he thinks Sky and Dakota should win the championship. And I don't disagree. And it's going to fade away because I clicked too many times. If they're going to be the women faction, there needs to be gold in the group. I don't disagree with that.
We still have a name for them, technically, right? They're still on the whole control thing, but it's not.
They haven't officially said a name, but they have mentioned the word control a lot of times. So I think they're kind of playing this. We're going to test out how the audience reacts to every time we say control. And if they react positively, then we'll release a logo. And if they don't react positively, then we'll move on to something else, sort of a thing. I don't disagree, although at the same point, the concept of just the Chaos Gremlins coming in and throwing a wrench into everything all the time is not a bad idea either. You know, you have them lose in the semifinals, but then they show up in the finals and they interfere to cost the people who beat them, you know, and lead up to a Survivor Series match that's, you know, a women's Survivor Series that's that group versus the group of, you know, Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and someone else or whatever. You know what I mean? So it could go either way.
I deeply enjoy that idea with Sky and Dakota winning, especially now. This is something that doesn't happen, and this is a way to really scratch the fucking record. The returning champs that most of us are 99% sure there's going to be a returning champs showing up in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Losing to the new champs.
Whew, that's a tough sell if you're going to get them to return, though.
What the problem they had with the story was that the story didn't make sense. It wasn't that they were losing the titles; it was that they were not being on the same
split team and losing. Yeah.
Well, more specifically, that they weren't losing. There were no plans for the tag titles.
They were just being split to singles matches.
Yeah, they were informed that they were each going to go off and lose to a singles person. And that, what are we going to do with these tag titles? I don't know. We'll figure something out. That's a future me problem.
Pal. That's a future me problem.
So, aside from Sasha and Naomi, if you're Triple H, who's your next big surprise return? Because here's the deal. I was disappointed with Hit Row. We mentioned that earlier. It was like a lot of people online were happy about it. I'm happy for you guys if you were excited about Hit Row. 3/4 of Hit Row showing up again. The problem is,
ain't the same without Swerve.
It ain't the same without Swerve. Yes, it'd be like if I'm trying to think of if D12 was coming to your town, but Eminem wasn't going to be there. You know. I mean, yeah, D12, they're all good in their own rights and whatever, but no one goes to D12 for no M to be there.
Or proof. I mean, if anything, if M's not there, a lot of people went for proof, but you know, no one's going for Bizarre. Sorry, Bizarre.
Yep. And that's the deal. And so who do you bring back? Who's the one
for the women specifically, or just generally
for anyone? If you're Triple H and you're trying to trying to continue.
Who's not under contract is what
thing.
you're referring to?
Who's not under contract, who could legitimately come back. Yes.
Well, I mean, I think the no-brainer one would be Gargano. I think him coming back, being pushed.
That's Gargano.
Gargano.
Do you think? And this is a serious question. I'm a Gargano fan. I would love to see him on AEW, but I want to see him on my TV one way or another. So I'm a big, but, and this is me seriously asking. Do you think with the Raw audience who basically don't know who Gargano is, do you think that that's a storyline that plays?
If they do DIY.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the filter that JLB has on to blur his background also blurred out the label on his water as he was drinking it, as he was pulling it up like it was.
It also did it on
that right there.
Others is
hashtag still not sponsored.
I like.
It also blurred it on my elbow. It's like, oh, now it's showing. So.
Zero sugar.
I like Fernando's answer. I'm trying not to be. I don't know how well Control Your Narrative is working.
Who you want to bring? Oh, EC3?
EC3,
well, Braun, probably.
Braun. They've already gotten one from it, you know.
Yeah, losing Killer Cross, Karrion Cross, however you want to call him.
Oh, snap. He was on
from it
narrative?
It was a thing to apparently this is an aside note. Apparently Freddie Prinze Jr. had plans for Karrion Cross to be his inaugural champion in his promotion, and Triple H coming in and scooping up Karrion Cross really set him back on his idea for his promotion. But here's if you bring Bray Wyatt back, yeah. I think the thing to do is bring Bray, Braun, and here's the big thing. Eric Redbeard. 1 week after his, not even a full week, 3 days after he was on AEW TV. It's a reverse Bobby Roode. Rick Rude, not Bobby Roode. Reverse Rick Rude. Have Eric Redbeard, have it be the Wyatt family, all of the surviving members of the Wyatt family show up all at once. Get rid of the Fiend gimmick and go back and let Bray Wyatt have a run as Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Swamp Riot. But I don't think you can do it with just him by himself.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'm still trying not to be cliche because everybody wants the Bray Wyatt aspect.
Yeah. I've said this. I think Bray Wyatt coming back to WWE is the better move for him.
Yeah.
Oh, by leaps and bounds. I think, especially now where he can, not to, pun is intended, but control his narrative. It wasn't intended, but it is.
But
he has a lot more control there, I think, over writing the storylines because they've seen how successful they can be.
Yeah, I just think I don't think the Fiend, bringing back the Fiend, is gonna work. I think the Fiend kind of got, for lack of a better term, ruined by Vince.
Yeah, and that happened early, unfortunately.
At the same time, though, it does sell a lot merch wise, and the fans would still be pretty excited to see him. And if Bray can do what he wants to do with the Fiend, the fans maybe might be able to get behind it.
I mean, if we're telling the multiple personalities aspect, have both come back. The Fiend is a multiple personality
Mhm.
with the Firefly Funhouse.
Mhm.
I think you can do that. I'm gonna give a hot take, and I'm gonna say Nia Jax.
Nia wouldn't be a horrible. I'm not a fan, but here's the deal: is the thing Triple H has to. The line he's got to walk is he not only has to try to win new fans and bring the NXT crowd back to Raw, because that's part of what had happened is there were Raw fans and then there were NXT fans and there needed to be WWE fans, right? So bringing those NXT fans back to Raw is one thing he needs to do. But I think the other thing he needs to do is he needs to bring back the Raw fans who've been abandoned over the last few years by Vince. Vince's desire to keep going in a way that wasn't working. And so Nia is maybe a way to do it, to kind of bring back,
Can't believe what I'm hearing.
I'm not a fan.
I didn't say I like it. I think it's the next move.
I don't
because
think
one of
she's
the
was
next
popular enough to like, especially to be that freaking catapult to bring back the Raw.
I think there's a
fans.
fear in her hurting people.
Oh, for sure.
At least for us
100%.
fans.
Yeah.
Um,
She's not that catalyst to be that person to bring the Raw fans back at all. At all. I don't know.
I think she could.
I'm
not a fan of it. I'm it's not my favorite idea, but I do think that she brings back a certain audience that's been missing.
I don't know. I mean, I think you have more of a shot with what's his face?
Andrade?
No, toy figure guy.
Oh, Matt Cardona?
Yeah. I think you have a better shot with Matt Cardona.
Paul Looney.
Hello. Welcome.
I don't think there's going to be... It's not going to sound right when I say this. I don't think WWE has the budget to bring back Matt Cardona right now. And I don't mean that the WWE doesn't have all the money in
Brazil. Hot diggity damn.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What I mean is Matt Cardona and Brian Myers have built an entire business since leaving WWE, right?
Right.
The Major Wrestling Figures podcast has grown leaps and bounds. They actually have branched out into producing their own toys,
Oh, really?
right?
Wow. Okay.
Well, this is not the place to learn English. I'm sorry to tell you.
JLB only speaks English a third of the time.
Yeah,
And that's the only language I know.
I went to Nebraska public schools. I barely speak English myself, and I'm a local. I use phrases like "warsh."
Oh, don't.
It just fucking repulses me that people say that.
Oh, I hate it, but I got it from my mom. I try not to say it too often, but sometimes it comes out. Sometimes the southwestern Nebraska.
If anything, learn what not to say in English.
People
podcasts.
We speak so fast. People at work
We
make
would think
fun of the
that
way.
while you're speaking Portuguese, my friend.
People at work make fun of the way I say the word milk. Like I
What
drink
is milk? What are you referring to?
Like,
Well,
like
either
the
way-
beverage that
Like
comes
moo
from
juice?
like moo juice. Yes,
Milk?
milk.
You say milk, right?
Milk.
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 It's not a fucking E. Milk.
Milk.
Yes, that's what we're referring to. Police.
Yes.
Milk.
Yes. Milk.
And I am
Milk.
half Portuguese, so Tajbon, I hope you're doing very good sir. That's
You know who's
Speaks
also from Brazil?
Portuguese. He's not. He's.
Well, he knows
Ooh,
Portuguese.
Enzo and Cass.
There's a hot
That
take
would be a
right
hot
there.
take. I don't know if I love it or I absolutely hate it. I
I think I like it. And
I
if you don't bring them back, you're SAWFT soft.
in fairness, Ambrosia, you say boggle, and so
Yeah.
you
That's a
deserve to be
fucking
made
game
fun of
that
that.
you shake up dice.
Yeah, that's the one you
No.
shake
She
up
says
the dice.
Bagel.
Bagel, yeah.
Boggle.
Bagel.
She plays Boggle, and she still messes up Bagel. Like it's weird.
Ty Conti or Ty Mello is from Brazil, so you know, you should be a wrestling fan and follow her.
I'm sure there's other Brazilians who are in wrestling. That
There are a
don't know
few,
that
but
they are.
she's the most prominent right now.
There are two of us from the United States, and one is from Canada.
Yeah.
Don't mess Canada,
Canada.
not Canada. No one ever says that. Canada, Canada.
You forgot the I. Kind of like Smarts does when he says milk.
Milk.
Anyways, he's got the most popular athlete on his side, Nunes being champion again. What up?
So
I mean,
other wrestlers.
I gotta be honest. I think I'm buying into Enzo and Cass. That's who I'd bring back. My brain wants to hate it.
If I'm fantasy booking it, which obviously happens,
Tag champs right away. Because
if I'm fantasy booking it, I'm bringing back Heath.
Heath would be a good one. Heath would be a really good one. I'd love to see Heath back. He just re-debuted on Impact, so I don't know what his contract there is.
Yeah, that's
and he has kids, so it has to be a pretty penny.
But he's got kids, and the WWE contracts are always going to be better than the Impact contract. But if he's got an exclusive contract with Impact, that's going to be tough.
Canada's pretty. You guys should come on down.
There's some people. We've got a whole conversation about milk in the
milk. Fuck! Oh my god! I've been friends with you since like 2016.
Yeah,
like 6 years I've known you.
We haven't had reason. We haven't had reason to talk about milk.
Now I thought it over. Milk,
yeah,
right? I'm saying it right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's milk. My grandpa called it milk, and he was a dairy farmer. It's milk.
Did he fucking sell his milk? Did people know what he was talking about when he was trying to sell his milk?
Yes. Everybody knew the Burks family milk.
You want milk? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Oof.
But Heath wouldn't be a bad get. I just don't know.
Like that's where I would want to go. I love the Enzo and Cass idea though.
Yeah,
I think I'm
really
sold
down
on
for
Enzo
that.
and Cass. Especially Cass now. Like Cass now is everything I wanted him to be in WWE. When they would talk about how he's big and how he's like powerful and all this stuff. And I had the same problem with Cass in WWE that I have with Parker Boudreaux in AEW. Is they portrayed him like a monster, and he had the physique of an everyman.
But now he doesn't need to be in a tag team, though. I feel like Cass on his own.
Oh.
I feel like
our Brazilian friend is going to make me start to talk slower. This is going to be hard for me because I do talk fast.
I will also
now say milk slowly.
Milk.
Jesus, it fucking hurts to hear.
No, don't make. That's gonna just fuck him up even more.
I want you.
Stop.
No. So here's another one I would do.
I'm sorry, my Brazilian friend. These guys
is
are
not
ass
a former
hats.
WWE person. I want Braun back. I know there's a lot of people who don't. I'm not invested in the EC3, but I want Braun back. The other one that I really,
You just want to hear that theme song again.
kind of, I really want Brains back. That's who I really want. Brains Strowman.
Brainstorming.
It was an episode of Raw.
Mhm.
Anyway, I want James Storm.
James
Oh,
Storm
you're
would be
on that
good.
bandwagon? Okay.
Bring James Storm to have him.
I
Have
would
him pair
love
up.
to see not
Beer
beer
money.
money because you have to call it something else. So invest inebriation or something like that.
They could
Inebriated
call it beer
investment.
money because Impact Wrestling turned over all trademarks to the wrestlers years ago.
Sweet.
So, I warned them when they came on that this was not the place to learn. This was not the
Yeah.
place to learn good speaking English.
This
Particularly
is
how to
what
say
not
fucking
to-
milk.
yeah.
Milk.
You're not going to get milk properly here.
That was close.
That was
really
kind of close. That was pretty good.
Milk.
Yeah.
You're saying now you're saying it right. That's weird.
Yeah.
I haven't changed the way I'm saying
Maybe you need
Milk.
to say it faster.
milk.
That's back to
Milk. I've said it my entire life. It's not going
What
to
is
change.
chocolate milk?
Chocolate milk. Or, as my daughter calls it, chalky milk.
Chalky milk. It's probably just out of date then. It's expired milk.
Anyway,
Chalky.
well, I also like that idea. I think you can really bolster your tag team division. with
Yeah.
that.
Again, pronunciation is not
wrong
going to
place
be
to
good
come
here.
for that. We don't done speak good here.
We should tell you a little bit about Cody Rhodes.
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 Listen, if you don't know
Cody
how
Rhodes is like a rose, a beautiful bloomed flower.
if you don't understand all the stuff we're saying, JLB will tell you just go to the library.
Oh fuck!
It's
Look it
pronounced
up.
library.
Library.
Yes.
But I seriously got to ask you guys something.
Son of a bitch.
Ask.
Ask. I am not going to throw an axe at his head, but I am going to ask him a question.
Oh, yay!
It's been fun. I don't
Off the
know.
rails is fun.
I 100% think Enzo and Cass is the way to go. I've been convinced. Who was the one who put it up there? Was that Fernando?
It was Fernando.
Fernando
knows his shit.
came up with the best concept. Enzo and Cass, they're the ones they should bring back. Beer Money being a good second. Bring James
But
Storm.
James Storm's never been in WWE.
Yeah, but bring James Storm
He
over.
was in NXT for like a show.
Yeah,
I
he
think.
did show up in NXT a couple times. Yes.
AJ Styles' theme was supposed to be for James Storm.
That is true.
Whoop,
Yep.
whoop, whoop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Which is really weird if you ask
No,
me.
yeah. Cowboy James Storm needs to be Cowboy.
Yeah.
Well, he clearly wasn't going to go as the cowboy gimmick.
Well, fuck
never
that.
thinking
Bring
of
him
it.
as Cowboy James Storm.
Yes.
Exactly that person.
And here's the deal.
You can
like,
have glorious Bobby
you-
Roode, but I
you
really
need
like the idea
to.
of
Bobby Roode needs something to do again. You know. And
They
so,
can take Bobby Roode's theme and give it to T-Bar when he comes back as Dijakovic.
yes.
Paul Looney,
Ooh.
fun fact, very few people speak good English in America and Canada too, though.
Yeah.
It's not just in Brazil, buddy.
This is America. We speak American here.
Oh, Jesus.
Here in the United States and Canada, we have teeth in the way that fucking English people don't.
Wow.
Wow, did I fucking go there?
You went
You
there. That's
speak
horrible.
American.
Think. I'm gonna insult them all today.
Yeah, you just done did it. In
You're
one
gonna have
sentence.
fun.
That's fun.
What do we know about Brazil?
The Amazon is mostly there.
I know Tay Mello was
It's in South America.
raised in the favelas of Rio.
I know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was originated
I
from
know-
Brazil.
Fast and Furious 6 took place in Brazil. It's where they had to steal the safe from the building
Oh
and
my
drive it down
god!
the road.
And it was off the the back end of the car. It was so stupid.
Yeah, well, it was multiple cars. They had multiple cars, and so it was in between them, and that's why it was like taking out pylons and stuff. I know the word flavella because of Fast and Furious. I know jujitsu was
You
created.
do not know jujitsu.
You do not know jujitsu.
You didn't let me finish. I know it was created in Japan, but then Brazil took it and made Brazilian jiu-jitsu,
Specifically,
which is
the Gracie family.
way more popular than Japanese jiu-jitsu.
What's favelas?
I know you have nuts.
Oh,
Brazil nuts, yes. Favelas is
Referring to
the
your
slums of Rio. They're like in the mountain coming down, and they're usually poorly constructed.
okay, it's like the ghetto.
It's like the ghettos.
It's like concrete without rebar, is what it is.
Oh,
It's bad.
Yeah, it's you know those scenes in Fast and Furious 6 where they're like running on top of buildings and they like fall through roofs and stuff like that.
right.
That's
Okay,
in
poorly
the favelas.
constructed housing.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god. Ambrosia, stop.
I know of it through research.
I don't think I've got a Brazilian wax, but I have gotten everything waxed.
So to get back to wrestling, I do believe this will happen with Evolve specifically. I think they're going to test opening that Evolve door with NXT a little bit more. I also expect them to test moving NXT with WWE more. I don't know that I don't foresee contractual relationships with, say, Zello Pro or even Major League Wrestling. Maybe with AAA, they might pull it off with AAA. Maybe.
I think AEW has more of a stronghold on AAA than anything WWE or NXT would.
Yeah, considering
Just throwing out maybes, bud.
Yeah, I mean maybe. Although I will point out that the AAA mixed tag championships were just featured on AEW TV on Friday.
I don't see them being able to pull it off with New Japan, for example.
Yeah.
Or now there is a chance Old Japan wants to do it.
Yeah, All Japan possibly.
Oh, I thought you said Old Japan. I thought you were just making a joke.
Well, that's the nickname for All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
No, I heard Old
Japan.
Oh,
I know.
yes. Okay, it's
Old is the nickname for All Japan Pro Wrestling.
I think if there are any other promotions that WWE is going to work with, it's going to be smaller, probably British. They're going to start working that in more with NXT UK potentially, maybe. Right. I'm not like 100% sold on that, but there's a chance. But I just don't think
I could see him partnering with maybe Stampede. That's
possibly.
A possibility. That's one of that's a AAA size organization. It unfortunately tours in very low population areas in Canada. Does Stampede ever come to Montreal?
Like
Stampede
wrestling?
Stampede
Wrestling?
Pro Wrestling?
No, I think that's just purely in
Calgary,
Regina, Edmonton.
Yeah. Regina rhymes with
vagina.
Mangina.
Yeah, I was gonna say mangina.
Oh, okay.
Does Brazil actually have 4 time zones? I mean, it's fucking big enough.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's basically
almost all of South America.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
pretty much. Yeah.
Brazil and Argentina are the beef of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair.
It's close to coast, so it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we've got 4
Yeah.
time zones. So
Yeah, there's only fucking 2 countries in the way on the Pacific side. I mean, a level of 2 countries.
So he said Pacific, not specific, which a lot of people get confused. Good sir, do not get confused. One is specifically one is specifically telling you something, and the other one is a Pacific time zone and an ocean. Yes.
Now Canada has what, 6 time zones, don't you?
We technically have 6.
And
there's one that doesn't even
nobody
turn.
lives in 2 of them.
That's valid though. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, hold on. The Atlantic time zone has a reasonable amount of population. There's Newfoundland there.
That wasn't the 2 I was referring to.
That wasn't the 2 though. He was referring to like
You're referring to
Nunavut and like
Nunavut and Yukon territories.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is on the Alaska time zone, which is hilarious. But Alaska has 2, so does Nebraska.
Yeah, that's it. No need to be confused. If you are confused, we will unconfuse you somehow.
Are you cool? JLB is not.
You.
Yeah, this is a question that has not been answered in my lifetime yet. Are you cool?
I'm pretty hot now.
Like if we'll narc on you if you tell us that you...
I mean, I am a detective,
cool
but fuck. A detective and a lawyer, I guess.
What is cool?
What?
What? Cool can also be a status of popularity or a temperature.
It could be a temperature, and I'm in the middle of Nebraska, and it is not cool here.
It is not cool. It is hot.
Well, do you have
kind of like what it is probably in Brazil right now? Hot.
I have my air conditioning, but I'm in a closed room with bad circulation, so it's not cool right now. No.
I'm in my basement. I'm cold and terrified that a spider will bite me.
I am right now not cool. Carlito would say that I am not cool.
Oh, Fabulous Moolah's daughter had died. Apparently, I don't know who's.
I did not know that Fabulous Moolah had a daughter. So
no, me neither. According to Fernando, I don't know if that was a joke somewhere or if that was like legit, but I don't see Fernando joking about that because Fernando's a serious fella.
Oh my god. Oh,
Fabe and Mark are awesome, but JLB
ever.
likes to use Ace body spray and tries to pick up chicks.
This is the most astute observation on our podcast I think it's ever happened. Pauluni, I'd love to help you learn English, but I've been doing it for. I've been doing
no,
for
never
44
JBL.
years.
Why does someone who doesn't know English even call me JBL? This is ridiculous. It's right there. God damn it. It's fine, Paluni. I forgive you.
Ridiculous.
I forgive you.
We'll try to help you as much as we can, but like I said, I've been doing it for 44 years and I barely speak English. I'm passable at best.
If you can get a lot of your Brazilian friends to watch the Twitch,
grab at it at random.
I will do English lessons.
That being said, we've been doing this for 2.5 hours. It is about time, I think, for us to close the book on this particular episode. English is more easy than Portuguese. I cannot.
Surprising.
English is one of the easiest languages to learn, though.
It is pretty
according
consistently
to a lot of foreigners.
Oh
who
no!
Try to learn our language.
It is so confusing because we have 4 different words that are pronounced there but mean totally something different.
Yes, there's a few of those.
English is consistently rated by most countries as one of the hardest languages to learn.
I don't think you're right about that.
The reason it's so difficult is it has both Germanic and Latin roots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. And a lot of other languages have various taken from everywhere else, like a lot of Spanish or French. So someone who knows Romanian, for example, will be able to know a lot more French than trying to learn English, because you're right, that is true too. Then English is very astute in the
its
sense
roots
that
are very blended, very blended.
yeah.
That's what I think when I speak to somebody in Portuguese, but I don't know Portuguese, so that's why it's too fast.
Yeah, it's like anything else. But to be fair, Portuguese people do speak freaking fast. Like I don't think you can slow Portuguese down.
You know who talks really fast and really loud?
Me?
Cubans.
Who?
Cubans.
Cubans? I think that's
I
just
have
a
yet to
Spanish
meet
thing.
I think
No, Cubans are fast and loud.
That might just be a Spanish thing, though, because so are
Every Cuban I've
Mexicans,
ever met is
so are
fast
Puerto
and loud.
Ricans.
No, they aren't.
Yeah.
Portuguese, it's hard.
Well-
I'm sure it's hard. Here's the deal: is I have very, very, very limited experience with Portuguese. I had a girlfriend for about a year whose mother was from Brazil. Her father was a accountant for the CIA. Who
Well,
met
I know who's
her-
getting shot tonight.
who met her. Fortunately for me, both mother and father have passed since this, and so I am safe in this respect. But the mother would speak Portuguese. The father could understand it, but not speak it back. And the daughter could understand it, but was like, "You don't want to know this." And I'm like, whatever, you know. And that was about that.
Nobody speaks Portuguese in this world. That's not necessarily true. People from Portugal do. Brazil, but you as a Brazilian do understand, it's a different dialect, but you do understand when Portuguese speak. You might use different words, but you would,
I would not guarantee that. I've met several Latin Americans who have difficulty understanding other Latin Americans.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, what I was gonna say is if we could go off and on about languages and everything. I do know that non-English speakers have a really hard time with English, because we've got we're one of the few languages that doesn't have feminine and masculine versions of words, and that's really hard for other languages that do have that.
That's fair.
To do, and so they have a hard time getting used to it. We have a lot of homophobe words that sound the same, are spelled different, and mean different things.
Wait. Did you say homophones or homophobes?
I heard homophobes.
We do have a lot of homophobes here.
We
but
also
that's
do have a lot of
different thing
homophobes.
altogether.
That's a totally different thing.
But that's a different thing altogether. But
Particularly in America.
This is not a language podcast by any means. But
we're all willing to learn.
If you want to show up on our Tuesday night live stream and learn more English by listening to us book fantasy wrestling events, you are welcome to, because that's when we will be back. We will be back on Tuesday to do fantasy booking. We might even play a round of our new favorite game that we had last week, which was Guess the Wrestler, because that was a lot of fun and I enjoyed doing it. So we might even do that, but unless the other people have something else they want to talk about, we've been going almost 3 hours. I think it's time for us to
this podcast is way too long. You need to cut it.
So on that note, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can like it on Facebook at Pissant Podcast. You can like it on YouTube, but if any place, I really think Fernando liked the Guess the Wrestler game. So,
snap! Yeah.
If there is a place that you haven't started following us someplace, going onto Twitch and following us there, twitch.tv/Raw and Order WBU, that's the best place, because we do Twitch exclusive live streams, like reactions to pay-per-views. We're going to be doing some watch-alongs here too. All of that. So if you subscribe to us, follow us on Twitch, that's going to be where you get to see all of our stuff. We go live 2 nights a week, Sunday nights and Tuesday nights at 10:30 p.m. Central Time, whatever that works out to, wherever you are. And so Ambrosia did just share the link tree. Link is in the doobly-doos if you're watching this on any other podcast for all of the places to follow us and support us. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us on Spreadshirt by buying some of our merch, like our Pissant podcast or Those Who Can't Wrestle podcast, or the autograph shirt like behind us, or even the one AI-inspired art that's still up for some reason. All the others got pulled down for copyright.
Which one is it?
The sociopathic Scott.
Oh.
So there's the link right there. But you can also follow us on all of the social medias. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU. That's pretty much every place except for Facebook, where it's at Pissant Podcast, like it's on my hat. But
your hat's getting a little wear.
Yeah, it's getting a little. I need to get a new one. It's been about a year, so it's time for a new one. I might try to come up with a new design too. I like the Pissant Podcast design though, so I don't know. Anyways, you can follow DA Fabe at
DA Vincent Kayfabe. Hey, I did that really well this time.
Did it right.
I had to go all the way up to know that was the right arm. At DA Vincent Kayfabe.
And you can follow JLB at.
You can follow me at JLB420 on Twitter. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. But of course, Real Talk Radio is the brand where I do talk about a little bit of everything: movies, music, entertainment, maybe English lessons. If I get enough people who want to learn English, that could maybe be a thing. We shall see. Anchor.fm/RTR. And that is it. I'm excited for Monday Night Raw. What will happen with Loomis? What is going on? Is the car crash part of it? We shall see, and we will let you know. Thank you, Paul, for coming in. And we hope we taught you a little bit of English. Just a teeny tiny.
I have no idea what he's saying there, but I'm happy to post that.
But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the wrestling booking unit. Thank you all for listening. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.